What is going on, all you beautiful people out there in YouTube land, as well as my Wolfpack brethren? You finally reached Wolfpack Wednesday. I am excited to do another show with you four and a special guest. Got a lot to talk about. There's some figures coming out. I think a lot of Marvel goodness coming our way. But we have a lot of cool topics we're going to talk about too. So before we introduce our guests and before we get to you guys in the chat, I want to check in with you guys. DLO, you are to my right. What is going on, sir?
Boys and girls, it's Wolfpack Wednesday. Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
The greatest day of the week, hump day, Wolfpack day.
Greatest
The boys
2
are back
hours.
in town. We got a hell of a banger of a show. Let's fucking go.
Let's go. That's one. Going straight down to Brick Artemis.
Oh, man.
My brother from another mother. The man in white. Brick the White, we'll call him tonight. How are you?
How do I follow that? That was great. But yeah, let's go. Wednesday, Wolfpack. You wait for this all week long, and then when the day comes, it's like you just, man, time goes by so slow, and then you're finally here. Let's do it.
It's like planning for an
Cheers.
event. Like we put so much effort and time into it, and then it's goes so
It's
quick.
like the only day in the work week where I'm just constantly looking at the clock, waiting for it to
Yeah.
strike so I can leave. I'm like Fred Flintstone on my
Fred
diner.
Flintstone, yeah, I was just going to say.
It's sliding down right there.
And our newest Wolfpack member, if you guys didn't look at the end of last week's episode, you would have missed it. But EvilSneaker's the newest member of the Wolfpack. Welcome, and has it sunken in yet, or is it still like the honeymoon phase?
No, it's sunk in right away.
Once he entered the chat, he
I've
was
been
just
fully
like, oh,
initiated. Once I entered the chat, I was like, "What the fuck happened?"
What did I get into?
And how's your back feeling after we got you to get that Wolfpack tattoo?
Oh,
Is it
dude.
healing well?
I got multiple tattoos already, so yeah, it's fine.
Right next to his butterfly. Beautiful.
Ridiculous. Like I said,
Well,
I'm working on the chest piece, so I just make everything else red and then get the logo in the middle, so I don't have to wear a shirt.
There you go.
Well, as every week, it's good to have you boys on the panel, and I don't want to keep our special guest waiting because he is very special, and he is a man that needs no introduction, but we will still give him one. You've likely never met anybody with such a dry sense of humor as this man, a man of great faith. You might hear him use the Lord's name a few times in praise as we discuss, and well. Without further ado, let's just bring him in. Big Breda himself, the king of third-party figures. What's going on, my friend?
Uh,
All right. We'll bring him back later when he's actually
Whenever
ready
he
to
has
go. No, he's actually texting. So he's deep in thought. I think he froze. We are live.
Oh, sorry, I put you on mute. Whatever.
Oh, okay. Well,
I'm kidding.
we're-
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I was sending a message to my wife because it's just a small issue. You said I'm the king of third-party reviews. I'm not the king of third-party reviews. I'm the king of in-art
just
reviews.
the king.
Oh, in-hard reviews. That's right.
Yeah,
fair.
that's great.
that's fair.
3 for 3. That's right.
I'm the chosen one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
apparently.
Yes, you are. You've
You
chosen
have to
my all
wonder.
3.
Thank you for having me, Graham. I don't know why. Every time I'm on your show, I feel a bit nervous. I don't feel very relaxed. I don't know.
Well, what can we do
this-
to relax you?
It's too many
Maybe
module
some
cases. Too many
horse
module cases on your screens.
I just got a couple
But
more
yeah.
yesterday.
Thank you for having me, DLO. It's a pleasure to stream with you, Brick. I've been trying to recreate a popular short with your tips, but it's not easy. It's not easy. Sometimes you create a short that has like 10 views in 1 hour and then have more 100. I want 4 million views shorts. I don't want 100.
I'm with you.
And
I'm with you.
EvilSneaker, first time streaming with you. I actually watched yesterday you did a collection tour, right?
Oh, appreciate that. Thank
Very,
you.
very cool setup. But sorry, I didn't comment. I have this problem. I never comment on videos. Never.
Same.
Yes.
I
okay.
like, but I don't comment on the videos. And
My
sometimes
problem
I really
is I actually comment and I
I
forget to
really
like.
feel bad about that. No, I like, but sometimes, most of the times, I forget to comment. And then people think, you didn't watch my video. I watched, but I didn't comment.
You just drop a comment every once in a while, and then people will be like, legendary.
Legend.
Exactly, to feel more special, right?
Legendary, he commented on my video.
Well, it's
and
good
I'm
to
excited-
have you.
excited
Yeah,
to stream
we're
with
all
you for the first
excited to
time.
have you and talk and discuss. And without further ado, let's just get into the chat and see who's in here. We have channel member good old Spotchka. Not sure if I'll be awake when you all are live, but happy Wolfpack Wednesday. Tighter FL, same. Been up since 4:30, going to see how long I can go. Hey, well, thank you for making the attempt with us. It's always good to have people stopping by to say goodnight before the show starts. So, just kidding, that's sarcasm. But we got Doc Bat finally Wednesday. Good to see the pack. Good to be here, sir. Too sweet to you. Rick Artemis in the house. We got Matt's Man Cave Collection. Looks like a new name here. What's up, Wolfpack? It's my first time watching live. Let's go. Well, thank you so much for making us a part of your Wednesday night, and thank you for giving us the shout out as well. Appreciate that. We got Cage in the house, another channel member, throwing up the Jedi Knights Watch emojis. EvilSneaker, another member of the watch. Action in the box. All the members are in the house. Wolfpack Wednesday, let's go. We got Cylon, what up, Wednesday here with the pack. Adric23, hello, gentlemen. Nick Bachman, hello. Adric is also a channel member. Give him a little shout, a little too sweet. We got Josh Johnson. He's chewing on some beer nuts. Good to see you. We got Jazzy in the house. What up, crew? We got DLO, of course. Yomo in the house. Hello, my friend. Thank you for being here.
Yomo,
of course,
Jason.
Breda throwing in his 2 cents. Time to call out all the fake collectors.
God, Breda.
Eddie,
We've been on for 7 minutes.
Eddie Rodriguez, what's up, guys? What's going on, Eddie? Daniel, hello. Thank you for being here. Universal Key, good friend of the channel. Thank you for being here as well. Cheers to you, my friend. We got Chris Santos. What's going on? We got Big Dog Pound in the house, giving us a woo. What's going on, dude? Too sweet, my brother. All right. Primetime Reviews, good friend of the channel as well. What's up, Brandon? Thank you for stopping into the channel. I know he doesn't collect as much anymore, but he just picked up the Peacemaker. I don't think he has it yet, but he got that, so that's really cool. I think he'll love that figure. Mine's on the way, just haven't gotten to it yet. But yes, good to see everybody in here. 37 in the house to start. Don't forget to hit that like button. Really does help the channel out a lot. You can find all of my friends' YouTube channels in the description below as well. So after the video, go check them out. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you do that because they're all really, really good stand-up guys. Let's just open this up. And the Green Goblin was released yesterday, and we got this head sculpt that seems to be divisive a little bit. Like, I think a lot of people really like it, and then some people are like, not so much. So I want to know what you guys think about the figure, but I also want to know what you think about the head sculpt itself. I want to start with our special guest, Big Breda, on your thoughts on this. I know you're not the biggest Marvel collector, but is this something you would also consider picking up?
After I saw the blogger photos where you have the 3 of them, Ock with Electro and Goblin, I don't know. I got that urge. Oh, I should get these guys because they look really cool, right? But I don't have a problem with the sculpt myself. I think looks in some. It depends on the way you see it. From the sides may look a bit goofy, but I'm considering that if you want to use the head sculpt, I would not use with this version. I would use with the Oboe version. I think that version is the one to use with the head sculpt. This one I think you should use with a Goblin mask. I haven't seen any review yet, but I don't know. William Dafoe, he has a very special, like, kind of
That's true.
creepy face, right? Is the eyes and the way the mouth and the teeth. So I think Hot Toys tried something different, not just doing the calm expression, because that would be easier to do. And I think that's what they are trying to do, even with Ock with the same. They went with a calm expression with Electro, which I think worked perfectly. But for this one, I really don't have a big issue. Now, I'm not sure if I'm going to get it, not at this moment. Let's see, since we have two versions of Goblin, probably one will sit and the other one will sell most. I don't think most collectors will get both because there are way too many invoices to get duplicates of one figure. So let's see how the market goes with this. But yeah, they look promising, these villains from No Way Home. I think Hot Toys did a great job with them.
If you could choose this or the hobo, which one would you go with?
I would choose the hobo.
Just because it's different from kind of
it looks a bit more special. Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know. When I look at this, I think the head sculpt looks great, except for the eyes. I think the teeth are really fantastic because they're, like you said, they're that special Willem Dafoe like teeth, but the eyes still look dead to me. Sneaker, what are your thoughts on this? As he takes a sip of his big gulp.
Take a sip to get ready to blow people's minds here with my opinion on this figure. Yeah, I mean, it's a cool figure. It's just not a figure for me. Spidey, so I actually have one Spider-Man on pre-order. It's the symbiote Spidey. And then I might potentially end up trying to get the Toby one when it eventually comes out. But with that being said, I'm really how I'm pretty selective when it comes to other IPs outside of Star Wars. This figure just doesn't really fall into that realm of a character that's up there for me to want to get it. It's a cool figure. I don't love the head sculpt. I mean, I think it's fine. If I displayed it though, it'd be like this, like one of these pictures you're showing without the head sculpt. I'd want the helmet on, and I'd want the full outfit probably if I'm going to be displaying this. But yeah, not something that I'm going to pick up. This is like an expensive figure too. It's crazy how they have this one and then this other one coming out as well. Yeah, but I will say the No Way Home line though is killing it. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff coming out, dropping obviously in a short period of time. So I'll say good luck to all of you Spider-Man fanatics out there, Brick.
Yeah.
When it comes to this line, but yeah, not for me. But I think it looks cool. I think that like I said, I think the outfit and everything looks really good. It's just, yeah, I would display it like this with this look. I don't care too much for the head sculpt. I think it looks fine, but it just isn't a way that I display it.
Yeah, I agree. I think the head sculpt looks decent, but the eyes just kind of throw me off. And it could just be the photos too. Once you get this thing in hand, it could change completely. So you just never know until you get it. What I do love is the detail in the paint in the suit. You can see the speckle in this photo, and the mask is just killer. So that's really cool. So now I'm gonna go to my Marvel expert here, Brick Artemis, the guy that lives for Marvel, and I know he lives for Spider-Man. So this is a big deal for him. You have the what's the brand of the third party?
The Toys Era.
You have the Toys Era Fiend, but it's the Goblin. But
yep.
So I really want to pick your brain on if this is good enough to replace that, or if you keep that and you get the hobo, or just in general, do you need them all? Where are you at with this?
So that's the problem with me right now is I ended up getting the Toys Era version, the Fiend, and I ended up pre-ordering the upgraded suit, the hobo suit, and knowing that I have the Toys Era, I'm fine. I don't need a Hot Toys version of this. I'll be okay with the Toys Era, with the deal that I got for it. Then this came out, and now I'm all over the place. I'm like, I really want it. I even the pre-order converted, the waitlist converted for me a couple weeks ago, and I didn't buy it. And now that it's out, it's like, man, I really want it. Do I get rid of the Fiend for put money toward this? And I actually really like the head sculpt. I think in certain angles it looks really goofy, like that one where he's standing next to Tom Holland. It's terrible, but when he's holding the mask or and kind of looking up, it looks great. I think the glider is way more advanced, way better than the Toys Era with the light up display and the way everything moves, like the wings move differently than the Toys Era. I think you can go forward with this one. I don't believe you can with Toys Era. But yeah, this comes with 3 pumpkin bombs instead of 2, so that's cool too. And the way that with the glider that you can put the pumpkin bombs in the front slots to make it look like they're coming up is also a really cool accessory there. However, I'm getting the upgraded suit. So as of now, I'm not planning on getting this, but if it ever comes out to where it's more, maybe not at a time where I'm getting all this other No Way Home stuff, maybe January, February next year, maybe I'll consider buying it. But great looking figure.
How posable is the Fiend? Is it restrictive, or there's a lot of punching?
I think it's amazing.
Because the suit looks like it would be a problem, but at the same time, it looks like it's innovative enough. You have the gaps where I think it is going to be, it's going to be okay.
Isn't that suit? Sorry, I was gonna say, Brick. Isn't that suit like really like? Doesn't it shape like go back to shape really well? Like after you pose it.
I'm not 100% sure, but I've heard that. I've heard that.
I feel like that material, and I remember when I saw it when I came and saw your collection. Like it's a cool looking figure, but I think I remember talking to somebody in the past, like when you pose that Toys R Us one, the suit material is like really like it doesn't really crease. Like when you pose it and you take it out of poses, like the way that they did the material, I guess people really like. At least I believe it's this figure. But
maybe with the ripples too, it kind of it doesn't matter because it kind of is it's built for it or it hides that a little bit more.
Brick, is there something that makes you like want to hold off on like keeping? What makes you say like I want to keep the Toys R Us one before considering swapping it for this one? Is there any particular reason why? I'm more so just curious.
Not to do anything with the figure itself. Not saying that Toys R Us is equal to this or anything like that, but knowing that I have Toys R Us and then I have the upgraded suit coming with this exact head sculpt, I don't feel like I need it right this second. But I think eventually it'll be in my collection to replace the Toys R Us.
Gotcha.
Is this thing on waitlist on Sideshow?
Yeah.
All of the both versions?
Yep.
Okay. But I bet your waitlist will convert.
It did, and I didn't buy it. But it's still there.
You can still get it. You can still get it other places.
Yeah, you'll get it other places. Speaking of waitlists converting, DLO, man with the plan. You getting this?
So funny, yeah. This waitlist thing, man, kills me because it's so BS. I still don't believe it.
My RoboCop never hit, and I've been on that forever. But yeah, everything else is like 24 to 48 hours.
What we are, episode 17 of Wolfpack is it? Episode 18 now 18, we're on.
Man. Yeah.
18 episodes, still not a believer in the waitlist. I got another conversion. This time it was Doc Ock today. Convenience. So way to put the pressure on me. The thing is just like now when you start doing, because I haven't been doing the waitlist stuff, right? I've just been doing it just kind of a theory. And then sometimes I'm like, ooh, you know what? C3PO. That one, I don't care what I pay for it there. I'm not looking for deal. I just want the figure. Mm-hmm. I'll let that one convert. But then you'll get stuff like this, and it's just like, oh, well, I wanted it, but I was willing to wait a little bit longer. But now that I have an opportunity, maybe, and I'm like, this must be like how every collector feels when they get that email. It's just like you feel like you're so special. It'd be wrong if I didn't do it, But so yeah, that's my new conundrum right now that I'm dealing with there. But as far as the Goblin is concerned, I love it. It's for me, it screams Spider-Man 1. I'm not even thinking about No Way Home. I'm thinking about Spider-Man 1 when I look at this one here. And obviously the head sculpt situation, it is what it is. I kind of gave up on it months ago when they updated us and revealed what the head sculpt would look like. And I realized it was just going to be the same one that we're going to get from the hobo suit, like Breda was saying, because that's what this is. Like, it doesn't scream to me in a bad way nor a good way. It just feels like it's the wrong head sculpt for this particular version of Goblin. And for me, I was kind of hoping more for the Spider-Man 1 look for William Dafoe as opposed to how he looks. Which is, it's not a deal breaker. I get it. You got to save money. So I'm not going to go too hard on this topic over here. But it's just like, for me, I was never going to really consider the head sculpt over the helmet look. The helmet look is iconic. It's classic. It's classy. Beautiful lines on it there. I mean, it's definitely a costume of its time. So, right? So, but yeah, all the same, I mean, I love the glider. What Brick said about that, I thought the attachments and the LED function is really well done. And it definitely is going to scream presence. It's going to have it there. The only negative that I have about this figure is not the figure itself, but the flying setup for it there. Did you guys get a chance to kind of look at that?
Is it on one of those narrow bases or whatever?
It's just that, but it's probably the most, I don't know, nastiest thing I've ever seen. They have like a 2-tier flight pole set up there. Okay. One for the glider and one for the figure. So you got this elongated flight pole thing holding us all up, and it's a bummer because, like, Brick, with your fiend there, I mean, I'm not too familiar with it as you are. Like, do you have to put like a secondary pole to hold up the Goblin, or does it hold
No.
up on its own with the glider?
It holds up on its own.
Yeah,
with
so
the
it's a weird thing. I mean, if Toys R Us can do it, why can't they? It's a little bizarre. But that's only tiny nitpick there. I mean, I'm sure there's other ways you can finagle it. I just don't want to have a pole for my glider and then have a secondary pole holding up Goblin. He should hold himself up, in my opinion, there. But yeah, all in all, I'm very excited about this figure. I've been indecisive which one I should get. I think I'm still going to go with this one, just because this one screams more to my generation of Spider-Man, as opposed to probably some of our younger collectors, but who might like the other one. So to Breda's point, I agree. I think it's going to be one of those ones where collectors are going to be split. You're probably not going to get both of them there. Like I think if I grab one, I think I'm happy with it. I don't think I need two Goblins to feel good about my Spider-Man collection. So yeah, I think this is an excellent figure. I'm very satisfied with it here. The head sculpt isn't a deal breaker. It's a great head sculpt. It's just something I probably won't use. But yeah, overall, I mean, this is going to come home. So I'm looking forward to this one.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really great looking figure. I think if you're a Spider-Man fanatic, then this is definitely going to be something that you really want to consider. It's really well done. Like the paint applications on the glider, it looks really, really good. And then the Goblin himself, it's just a really unique character. And I know it's one of Brick's favorites of all time, right?
Yeah, you know something that I'm noticing too, though, and I know this might sound weird, but his crotch. So he's got plastic around his whole crotch area, and the Toys era, it kind of like stops where the rest is rubber. So every time I bend him forward, I feel like the plastic part's going into the rubber suit. So that always freaks me out with Toys era. So I like this, that the whole undercarriage is plastic, it looks like.
Maybe one day. Maybe one day I'll buy your Toys R Us so you can buy this one. We'll see.
There you go. Thank you.
We'll see. Any Breda, any final thoughts on this thing?
Not at all. Your points are all very valid. I agree with all of them.
Is anybody with me though on the dead eyes? Like, I mean, some angles it looks good, but
I think it really depends on the angle.
Yeah,
I think it's an excellent head sculpt. It's just on the wrong body and it's throwing everybody off. Like
there is something about it being. Yeah, I agree with what D'Lo said.
They should have given us that battle damage head sculpt.
Well, not just that. The part 1 head sculpt is what it needed. It was hinting that that's what we're going to get, but in the end, they decided to just give us this one on the second figure as well too. Which, like I said before, I get it's fine, but that's what's making this confusing for collectors, because he was never seen like this with this particular head sculpt, this particular hairstyle, those particular teeth. I mean, literally, this is all inaccurate to this Green Goblin. So it's excellent for the Goblin that's coming up next, but it's not right for this one. And I think that's what's making people question how good this one is. But the head sculpt is phenomenal. It's on the wrong body, but this is an excellent figure.
They're using this same head sculpt on the hobo?
Correct.
Yeah.
And the
fair,
goggles
though, this is
come off, right?
Yeah. Okay. To be fair though, this is the suit he had at the beginning of No Way Home, and then that's when he had the glider that the pumpkin bomb came up. But I hear what you're saying. We definitely need. We never got one from the original, so it would have been nice to have two different ones to kind of play with both suits. If we could put the, even if somebody wanted to be weird and yeah.
But Hot Toys wants to make the most out of their money, and
sure,
this is a good way to do that with one head sculpt for 2 figures. Sneaker, any final words from the Star Wars guy?
No, it's a cool figure. I think, like D'Lo said, I think it's also unique character design. I think you and D'Lo both had said that, but yeah, unique. I'm all for getting characters that are unique character designs that are kind of iconic villains and characters. So I think overall, I know there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be happy with this. Definitely for me, like I said, it would be full. I wouldn't use the head sculpt. Yeah, my final thoughts.
We'll enjoy it on Brick and D'Lo's shelf for now.
I'll be interested to see this one in person. So
there you go.
Excited for when Brick gets it, so I can come over and check it out.
Let's let me just hop back into the chat because I missed a couple people coming in here. We got the Collector #1. What's up, everybody? Doing great? Yeah, hope you're doing as good as we are. We got CG Mun. Hot Toys needs to make a 1/6 scale of Jake Paul. What's going on, dude? Collector Joey in the house. Look at this beautiful panel. Hello, my friend. Mike Literis himself. The man, the myth, the legend. He is here. He says, hey, people, off to bed, but wanted to say hello to the chat and crew. I'll catch the replay. I really appreciate you watching any which way you can, sir, and get some sleep. Everybody's going to bed early tonight. Must be a rough start to the week. Let's see. Neo Matrix Resurrection waitlist converted today. Hey, congrats on that. That's awesome. Action in the Box actually just did a video on weathering his Pennywise from Hot
Pennywise,
Toys.
yeah. I saw that video too. Really good.
Anybody's interested in that, go check it out. It does the really cool dioramas as well. Just a really cool setup. We've talked about his setup on the show, his display.
I think he's from Brazil. I think he's
Yes,
from Brazil, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Jazzy says waitlist tactics still BS to me. I mean, obvious. I don't know if it's BS. I think they're just getting smaller batches, and then when the waitlists are filling up, they're getting more. I think that's the way they're doing it now, because why get them all up front and then worry about if they're going to sell or not? Where if you get a small batch here and then you can get another small batch later, just kind of bring them in as you need them, as opposed to just having them all sit in the warehouse. That's what I'm thinking. I don't know if it's BS. I just think it's a way for them to not be sitting on this stuff forever. But I could be wrong. I'm just guessing. Christian Cooper in the house. What up, guys? Hey, Christian. Thanks for being here. Payton, 23. Always good to see him. And let's see. We got, he says, got this bad boy on pre-order. Can't wait. Congrats. A lot of people are going to be really excited to get this. Gambit Rodriguez in the house. Gentlemen, hello. But the bank account taking a hit with this and Doc Ock coming at the same time. That's the tough part, man, is all this stuff come at the same time. That's why...
Yeah. And Electro.
You got to be careful. Yeah, Electro, we're going to talk about him really close coming up here. Sunnyvale Russ, hello. Thank you for being here. Let's see. Got everything in the No Way Home line besides the black suit spider. Are you getting it? Or are you just not? Daniel, but this suit isn't exactly based on the Raimi Goblin design, as it is like a hybrid of both No Way Home and Spider-Man 1. Interesting. Thank you for sharing that. MD20, his haircut is the same in Spider-Man 1, isn't it? His hair was cut that way during the mansion scene, right? Was his teeth?
Yeah. So I can answer this one here. As like one of my favorite Spider-Man movies, I can tell you right now. So William Dafoe and James Franco both had a reddish tint to their hair to kind of match closer to the comic book versions of their characters. And William Dafoe, if you've seen the actor, you Google his image, he does have the prettiest smile. We'll put it to you like that gently, kind of like this. This is more how he looks in Far From Home. In the original movie, they made him wear like No Way Home. In the original movie, they had him wear it's like a teeth kind of fake denture or something like that there to make it a little bit more straight there. So yeah, this is supposed to be for the Hobbit. This is completely accurate to the new version of him, but this is not specifically accurate to the one from Spider-Man 1, which he's supposed to be coming directly out of in the movie. So take it as you will.
That is true.
Take it as you will.
That is
All
true.
right.
Before we move on,
Yes.
can I just give you some news, because many people before they missed the ASLab, the Proton Pack, the Ghostbusters one, and he's available now at Big Bad Toy Store. Because many people were searching for that, and eBay prices are horrible, and you can get it at Big Bad Toy Store now. Is a bit markup, but $649 is a 1-to-1 scale, and that Proton Pack, I think it's really good.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah, it's so cool.
thank you for sharing that, sir. That's pretty sweet.
And
Get
$5
yourself
shipping.
a Halloween Proton Pack.
$4 flat rate shipping.
I like it. I like it a
Oh.
lot. All right. Anybody else got any other thoughts on the Goblin or the Proton Pack? Breda, how many of these you got?
None.
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 How many of these you gonna get?
Electro.
Yeah, you
I
gonna get
would
him?
I would be happy with one.
Can you get him and not Goblin?
No, that's the question here. It's for me. If I'm going to get, I need to get the 3 of them. I'm not going to get only one. I want
Right.
if I get, I need to get the 3 of them. But then if you get the 3 villains, you also want the 3 Spider-Mans. So in
Right.
the end, because I always put in my mind, okay, this No Way Home line is out of my ideas, because I always thought it's like 4K that you need to spend on this line, and it's not like a line that I really need.
That's the best he looks. I love that. I just love that look right there.
Can I finish my thoughts? And then
Oh, I'm sorry, you're still talking. My bad. I apologize.
But you think it looks good like that, right? For me, it looks like a starfish. I don't like it.
Oh, I was gonna ask, does this cheapen the figure or does it make him look better?
I prefer to see the head sculpt myself.
But either way, you can change it up at least, right? So if you get sick of
Yeah,
one,
you can change, but will you really change?
no.
So
DLO might.
I like it. I like it personally. I
Brooke-
mean, to me,
Brooke, do you like this, or does it look just plasticky?
I like it because it kind of goes to the comic accurate
Thank you.
kind of version. But because the head sculpt's so good, I probably have it without. But I would keep the yellow electricity around his body for sure.
But that's the question, because for me these effects, they are using this forever already. This kind of
Yeah.
effects,
Yeah.
they are always using the same. We got so many figures with them. I remember Nebula also have these ones too, and they look good on the blogger photos. But
That's a good head sculpt.
unless they are still, because they are still using this kind of it is a cheap plastic, right?
Sure.
If somehow they would use some kind of effects that could really light up, they would give another life to the figure. But when you have these effects on your display, okay, they serve the purpose, but they don't give the premium look that the figure deserve. Like, because here you are watching the photos with all the lighting and everything, but in your display you will not have all this lighting around.
Sure.
It's just a normal lighting, so I think the effects don't look as good. So I would prefer to use the head sculpt.
Does this, Breda, does this do anything to the original Electro? Does it have any effect, good or bad whatsoever, or does it not pertain to it
I
at
don't
all?
think
It's
it
just
has
totally
any
different?
effect. That Electro still at the same. You can get it here maybe $60, $70 if much. I don't know. No one wants it. It was not the bad figure, the first one. I think the biggest issue was the suit, because when you lighten up, it actually looked good. But I think this is the Electro to have. I don't think anyone is going back to get the first one now, if it's seated for so long. I think at the point in time there was some store like offering that Electro, like if you bought a certain amount of Hot Toys, they would offer that one for free. So
Wow.
I like what they've done, like just looking at it as a figure. I like the outfit material because it's gonna last a long time. It's gonna be easily posable. I like how it has the joints, but they're hidden, so you can kind of see it here a little bit. But for the most part, all of these straps and bands and everything, it's gonna hide it. So I think this is gonna be a really fun figure to have, in your collection if you're a fan. But Sneaker, I know this isn't really, again, something you or I are kind of focusing on, but is this something that you can admire just for what it is?
Oh yeah, for sure. I think like all the No Way Home stuff I can admire for sure. Like I'm glad I am not like, and I'm pretty high on those movies, like the Spider-Man movies, and I really like this movie. I'm really glad that I don't collect anything from this because, like Breda said, this is like a money pit. This is like a Hot Toys marketing fire for them in a good way. You have to get, like you said, like you don't just want the one Spider-Man, you want them all. You don't just want one villain, you want them all. This is like the perfect movie to make figures for, to make a lot of money. That's what I see when I look at this. Again, Brick, I know like you're really into this. This is, I feel bad for your wallet, man. But yeah, it's like I'm not into the. I know you guys are talking about like the starfish look. I'm not into that look. I know you guys are saying like it's comic inspired, right? But are you going to display this in a comic inspired pose, or you're going to do this for what it's like in the movie? I guess that would be my question. But yeah, I wouldn't. There's no way I would be covering up this head sculpt with a big plastic yellow piece like that, unless it looked better and it looked nicer. But yeah, I agree with what you said, Graham, with the outfit. I like the outfit. I like all the different intricacies of the outfit. It looks really good. Like I said, great figure. I'm glad I'm not buying it. Because yeah, like I said, I'd want them all. So that's what I'll say about this one.
Brick, is this one coming home too? Getting the whole band together?
This one is coming home.
Wow.
Hopefully a couple weeks, or sooner. But yeah,
Where'd you get this from? Sideshow?
I got this from Underground.
Okay.
Figures. Yeah, helping a boy out over here.
But
But yeah,
my favorite like that.
We'll see how that goes at the end of the day. But yeah, I think the head sculpt, Jamie Foxx looks. I mean, they were spot on, and I think his outfit is perfect. This is way better than the original. I actually am a huge fan of Amazing Spider-Man 2. One of my favorite Spider-Man movies. I know I am in the minority of that, but this is by far like way superior than the Electro. And even when you see the movie, you're like, finally, the one thing in my opinion, the one thing they did wrong in the original, I guess Amazing Spider-Man 2, where they originally had Electro, the one thing they did wrong was made him purple. But yeah, this one's coming home. It's gonna look good with Doc Ock and the hobo Goblin. Every time I say hobo, I want to say hobgoblin. It's not. So the upgraded suit Goblin. And
Are you
yeah,
getting these black and gold Spider-Man, or you have it already?
I don't have the black and gold Spidey, but I am getting. I have Garfield.
Spideys.
Yeah, I have a lot of Spideys. I have Garfield. I got Toby coming. I have the new suit for Tom Holland coming. So yeah, I got plenty. And then I have all three of the video game. That was release or up for pre-order. So I got too much coming, but yeah, this one I'm excited to have. I wasn't really planning on getting all of the villains. I think the only one I was planning on getting was the upgraded suit Goblin. And then it's like when you see the actual photos of these figures and people reviewing them and whatnot, you're like, oh yeah, it looks really good. I can't just get all three Spideys like EvilSneaker was saying. You got to have the villains too. So it's gonna look good. It's gonna look good in the display. I'm gonna need more Magi cases.
Yeah,
that's gonna be a cool figure to have.
All right, DLO, hit me up.
Yeah, same thing everybody else said. It's a very solid figure. Honestly speaking, probably my least anticipated from the line, only because it just doesn't have the same gravitas as the other figures that we've seen so far. The Doc Ock is incredible with, the tentacles, with the Goblin, with the glider. This one has a little bit less to it there, but I mean, I get it's by design because kind of like what Brick was saying here, just the color choices and the decisions they made in the first time Jamie Foxx did this, probably not the best decisions, right? So I guess they went from overdoing it to underdoing it, in my opinion. What I would have liked to see is kind of what Breda said, just find a way to make this figure kind of stand out because it's a beautiful head sculpt. The tailoring is phenomenal on it there, but it feels like it's missing something. And I think what Breda said kind of nailed it, like right on the head, like maybe some lighting feature. I mean, his name's Electro. He should light up some kind of ways. There should be some kind of functionality to that. Maybe you've done like a second head sculpt, so maybe where the lights can glow or some cool like effect to that there. Then that way, when you put on like the starfish, which it's not a starfish, guys, but the starfish accessory, then that would look really neat.
That would be cool.
Demogorgon.
That would be really cool if you could get that lit up like that.
Just kind of give it that extra oomph that it needs there, just to kind of compete with all the other hot stuff that's gone on that shelf, but from the line there. But head sculpt wise, amazing head sculpt there. The only thing I'm noticing in the picture here, just kind of looking to the side here, it looks like that might be the mold line I see here on the right by his ear going up. Little distracting. Not a total deal breaker, but kind of an eyesore there.
Could be the hard light.
Could be, but either way, I mean, it's a beautiful looking figure. I mean, it has pops of color with the yellow sticking out there. You got the arc reactor in the center that's really pulling the whole look together. This is really, really nice there. I'm gonna get it, but I'll be honest with you, if it wasn't the fact that I was gonna get everything, I probably would have passed on this one here. But I feel compelled and it's needed to complete this line for me, so I'm gonna pick this one up.
Are you getting the bases too, DLO? the
Undecided.
lizard and Sandman.
Undecided. I gotta see how it looks because I'm gonna try to attempt to put this all in one DF60. So you figure 3 Spider-Men, a Doc Ock with those high tentacles. I got Venom already up there waiting in the wings. I gotta get Carnage. So it might be too tight to put all those. Heck, I might not be able to do it anyways. I might have to spread it out to another display, or maybe have to get another module case or something like that. But I want to get those last because I just want to see what everything else looks like in there before I get that piece, because those are pretty big stands,
Oh yeah.
So I don't know. I'll figure it out when it gets closer there. But yeah, for now, I'll have Mysterio in the case, Venom in the case, Carnage eventually at some point. Getting these 3 guys there and the 3 Spider-Men. I mean, it's going to be a heck of a display once it's done.
All right. Very good. Very good. Let's just check in with the chat. We got TX Boy 210 says, guess I'm in the minority of most collectors. I don't collect these for these sculpts. I collect for the character they portray. All right. We can get down with that. Collector Joey says Brick is the MVP. Cruising through space says same. These guys don't even display the head sculpts as much as they nitpick. I don't know if he's talking about us or collectors, but it is what it is. Cylon says, with the mask on, looks like those weird things on the Last of Us show. Yeah.
Or a starfish from Suicide Squad, right? Put one of those on his head.
There you go. Lots of collectors just hate on a piece. Seems that's part of what collecting is these days. Happens with a lot of pieces these days. I don't know if people are hating on it. I think this is a platform where we can just share opinions, and I'm comfortable with myself to know, like, if somebody doesn't like something, I'm fine if I like it, that it doesn't really bother me. So yeah, I'm just I'm okay with that if we have a difference of opinion, because that's the beauty of talking about this stuff, is we all have different interests and different subjective likes. So I mean, there probably are some people that are hating on it, but I hope you guys have seen, we're talking very highly of these figures so far. So yeah, that's what it is.
A lot of times when it comes to that as well too, guys, I mean, keeping everything in perspective, I mean, yeah, we've been pretty high on this. I'm sure they're not talking about what we're talking about.
That could just be in general.
Could be in general, because a lot of times, with everything that's going on right now, with the amount of stuff that's available, there's some things that collectors are going to miss out on, not because they want to, but unfortunately, this, the name of the game. There's just only so much money and only so many, figures you can fit in your display. So at the end of the day, there's going to be somebody who's going to nitpick on something here that may not be a deal breaker under different circumstances, but it's going to help them feel justified that they don't want to get it. And that's their opinion. They can do that if they want to there. But as far as the art of this here, these are so far what we've been talking. These have been phenomenal figures. Just not everybody can get them.
Yeah.
I think I just want to add a quick point to that too. I think another thing is you want, when you're spending this kind of money and collecting at this level, you want to make sure that you for sure want something and you really, really like what you're getting. So if there's things that deter you from that, then, that may guide your decision. But I think it's important, if you're a collector, to think about those things. And if it's not truly the thing that you want, then you just got to make a wise decision when it comes to picking pieces up. Yeah. So you don't, and like, I think it's good for the the hobby in general to talk about this stuff. And there's probably some, everybody talks and people listen, and hopefully at some point the community's feedback is taken into account when it comes to some of this stuff. So I think it's important.
With you saying that, Sneaker, I think, I would not get this figure if it was standalone, but because they have the whole line, it's like it makes this figure 10 times, 100 times better, because it makes the whole line look great.
Interesting.
So it kind of sucks because I like the figure and everything, but it's again not something I would buy for $100. But because it's part of the line, it's like, okay, I'm willing to put.
It's like
down
an accent piece to the other figures that you have.
Together, they all look amazing.
It helps every piece to look better.
Yep. So then it comes down to, for you, that's like that's your process, that's your thought process on it, where you want to collect it and you want to complete the line. For somebody else, they may say like, I really like Electro, like I really like him as a villain, but this one, I'm not happy with this. Or so I think it's fine. It depends. It's all about how you want to, go about your collecting and how it fits into your collection. I think that's good.
I will say the one character that I don't get for the head sculpts or display the head sculpts is Batman. Almost never. Got to have that cowl on. Sorry, not sorry. Right?
Yeah.
Come on, D-Lo, you're with me.
I get that.
Listen, if I have a Batman, I'm making a Bruce Wayne. I'm kit bashing one. That's just how it is. But I agree with you. Batman should always look like Batman. I'm not going to hold a cowl with Batman. That never happens. How dare you? So yeah, I got like 14 Bruce Waynes because I refuse to do that. So
yeah, TX Boy says, actually, I'm not saying you guys, everybody's entitled to their opinion.
You're good, dude.
Talking about,
you're good.
You're right. I know
yeah,
where that's
and obviously there are
understand.
places like that. So, question to the chosen one, which I believe would be Breda. Any news on Aragorn release? Give us the news.
What news?
Aragorn release.
Aragorn, man.
Here, I'll put it up right here.
People want to know.
The stage is yours.
That's a good question. I also don't know.
All right. Well, there you have it. You, the chosen one.
Stay tuned.
I have spoken.
If you guys had a guess, do you think Aragorn comes out before the year ends?
No, because you have Batman first.
Sure.
Oh, Batman's supposed to
That's
come
a good
before
point.
Aragorn.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. November-ish, right? Or is that Hot Toys? Yeah, October maybe for Hot Toys and November-ish for In Art, I think.
If I'm not mistaken, Aragorn went for pre-order on this year in January.
It did. Correct.
But Batman was last year in
Last
August.
year.
Also correct. Yep. I think it was around November last year.
Okay, so
Man, that'd be nice if we got it out then. It'd be a year.
Right.
That's not bad.
It would be nice. What?
If they get the Batman out in November and just keep that right at a year.
No, we wouldn't.
That's. You don't think they would? The Batman?
I mean, when
It
you're
would
waiting.
be nice maybe for you. For me, no. I don't want to play more stuff now because
All right, I see what you're saying.
I have the Hot Toys one that is the super deluxe from Hot Toys, and I have the In-Art one that is also the super deluxe from In-Art. Only on these two is a lot of money. I want them to space out a bit more because
Don't release
It'll
at
be
the same
interesting.
time.
It'll be interesting if they do that, though. I would be very intrigued to see what that does to the community if both of them come out around the same time.
Yeah, and that's gonna be an interesting
Be a lot of good
comparison.
content.
That's gonna be a really interesting comparison time.
All right. I don't want to spend too much time on this. I'm sorry for anybody that loves Doctor Strange. I apologize.
Rick is just
up front.
like typical DC guy,
I know.
just skipping the Marvel.
No, we spent a lot of time on Marvel, and I'm being a good sport about it. But Strange, I just don't. They've made so many. There's
many of these.
small, intricate differences that, to me, who is more of a general fan, I just don't notice or don't care to notice. I've had a Strange. I've already sold it, so it's just not something that I'm going to be into. But I want to hear what you guys have to say about it. So this time, I want to start with D-Lo, so he can start us off on this one. Thoughts is, I mean, this is from Multiverse of Madness, so we have two. I think we have one from Infinity War, one from, is that the standalone, and then
So this is going to be number
No
4,
Way Home.
if that's where you're going
Okay.
with this. Sure.
Yes.
So you got
no, this is going to be number 6. Sorry,
number 6. No, you had the original solo movie.
you got the
Infinity
original
War,
Infinity War,
No Way From Home.
Iron Strange, No Way Home, Multiverse of Madness,
one?
and Death Strange.
He said Iron Strange.
Oh, does anybody really count that though? Honestly,
I mean, it is the
It's a
portrait.
Strange.
it's a Mark 50 with a chest plate and the same skull. But all right, fair enough. So yes, if you count that, it's fine. That's true.
Dead Strange looks pretty cool. I'll give you that.
Oh,
one.
yeah.
But we're talking about
Give
we're
me that
talking
one.
about this one right now. So
This one right here. So let's go to this one. So, I mean, what's there to say here? I mean, it's head sculpt is definitely an improvement over time from the few that we've gotten so far. I prefer the original outfit a little bit more, or personally, my favorite is the one where he's wearing the gloves at the end of Thor Ragnarok when he does his cameo at the end there. That would have been nice to see that one instead. But it's a great figure. The secondary head sculpt is very interesting because it still feels like it's not real and it's photoshopped in these.
right.
It really doesn't look like it actually. But I mean, it's a very unique head sculpt there. So, I mean, it's a great Doctor Strange. If you don't already have one, I mean, this is definitely a good place to start. I would skip the No Way Home one and get this one instead. Quite honestly, just because of the updates to it. But at the same time, if you're not a huge fan of Doctor Strange, I mean, I find them to be more of a side character, so I'm not crazy about it. Like if you have one, in my opinion, I feel like you're set unless you're a diehard fan of Doctor
I
Strange
agree. You should have one.
or the
but
actor. Yeah, if Marvel's your focus, there's nothing wrong with having a Doctor Strange. And this one would be a great one to start with if you don't have one yet. Don't go backwards. I would get this one. But other than that, yeah, it's another Doctor Strange.
I kind of disagree with you, because if you want just one Doctor Strange at this moment, you can get one of the early releases for a cheaper price instead of paying a higher price for this one.
Even the No Way Home is
The No Way
super
Home you
cheap.
can get for cheaper.
Sure, but I mean, if
so
it's
low.
not the price and you're looking at the one that you prefer, like
think
personally,
this
style
headset
wise,
is the best.
it is like that. This has improvements on it there. So, and not to say you can't find this one at a discount. There's a very possibility that same thing can happen.
Oh,
with
for
this.
sure.
You could wait.
Yeah.
I would
But
wait on
I
this
think
one.
I think this one.
I think
Yeah,
so
I
far
agree.
this is the best one. But I mean, if you're bargain shopping, yes, of course, like Breda says, 1,000% go back, grab one of those for a decent price there. But if you're looking for something newer that maybe have a little bit more longevity on your shelf, just because it's more up to date than the other ones, this isn't a bad option.
I guess that's my question that I was going to ask you guys, and anybody can jump in. Do you think? How do I want to phrase this? Like, I want to say, like, is this needed, or is this a good idea by Hot Toys? Like, or does this just cannibalize the entire line of Doctor Strange outside of like the Dead Strange or Iron Strange? But does it like cannibalize the other ones because they do look so similar, or is there enough different? And you guys can let us know in the chat too. Is there enough different that you think it's a good idea, or the market's good for Strange? Because I seem to think it's kind of cannibalizing all of the other ones just because they are so similar. It's like kind of killing the value of them. But I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
Because there are too much. They did too many of ours, Doctor Strange. Almost every they did one, then after 2 years did another, then after 1 year another. There are differences in the suit. Mario El Profesoro already told me the difference
this
in the
looks
suit and everything.
metallic here?
There are some differences for sure. But yeah, these kind of cannibalize the other ones. But Hot Toys is known for these. What they
Right.
are doing, did they do with the Dark Knight Batman? The X12, the X12, the X19, now is the Armory. They are constantly upgrading with small stuff and making the older ones look like the poor cousins. And for a collector that just got the X19 is, wow, what's that? Same with Mandalorian, with the Beskar, and then with the Chrome just right after that. This stuff keeps happening, and that's the way they do it. That's the way they reuse the bodies, reuse the fabric that they have in excess in the factories, and they just keep pumping figures out. So for collectors, it's not the best, but maybe it's the way they want to do it, and it's the way that makes sense for them business-wise. Or it's a contract obligation by the licensor. We don't know.
It's a fair point.
Daniel says it just depends on what suit you want. Either you want to represent a solo movie, Infinity War, Endgame, or the Madness movie. And that's a good point too. I mean, yeah, pick and choose, and you can see subtle differences obviously in the suit here. But I guess in a general statement, they all kind of look the same because it is kind of the same look. But Rick, I want to go to you on this one. You've got a lot of Marvel. You don't have a Strange yet, so. Is this something you would maybe pick up, or are you looking to go backwards on this, or are you just not the biggest Strange fan?
Yeah, I mean, he's not at the top of my list. I don't need a Doctor Strange. Part of me wants one though. I do have the Scarlet Witch coming, even though I have the Wanda from WandaVision. But so I mean, he would look good with some of my figures, but it's not like what we were talking about with No Way Home, where you want all of them, right? This is, I mean, sure, if you're doing an Avengers thing and you want a Doctor Strange, I've just never been a huge fan of his movies. I have liked him in other movies that he's in, like No Way Home and the Avengers movies, but I've never liked his solo movies. And
Same.
and even this movie, the highlight was Scarlet Witch. It wasn't him, and it's just. I'm not the biggest fan. If he goes on discount, like you guys were saying, I will probably consider picking him up, but it's not one that's on my radar right this second.
I will say though, like looking at the figure, I really do like it. It's more of like the character. I just don't really care. Like you said, Brick, I don't really care to have a Strange. I had the other one, and just wasn't doing anything for me. But I do think this head sculpt is really cool. I love the hair and how you have like the separate strands going into the forehead. I think the paint application on this one is the best. I like the hair seems darker as well, but then you get the contrast of the white here. Super delicate stitching, on the hood or on the collar. So I think it's really done. It's done well. I like the metallic here. So like there are like some things that look better that I like. I just don't know if this is again something for me right now. Sneaker has shifted my focus to Star Wars without knowing it.
Blame
And but I mean, there's going to be Marvel pieces for me here and there, but I'm kind of set with what I have. Like I like what I have, and that's kind of where I'm at. So this isn't on my radar. But Sneaker, looking at this, what do you think?
Yeah, I want to go back to kind of like the point you brought up, like whether or not this is cannibalizing the market and stuff. I think the tough thing is, even if you really like this character and you buy, say, one that already came out, the moment a new one releases, the value on the previous one is likely going to drop. So even if you're like, so maybe you want multiples, and that's fine. Maybe you already own one, you want multiples. Okay, you're going to pick this one up. But if you don't, and you just want, maybe you have a Doctor Strange, this one comes out and you're like, I really like his suit from Multiverse of Madness. This is the one that I want. They've made these upgrades. You are going to sell the one that you have for a lot less. And that sucks, right? Like nobody wants to sell something for a lot less than what they paid and then have to pay a higher price to get one with what is, there are upgrades, but in my opinion, some of them are incremental. You're not getting these huge, crazy advances on the figure. And like sometimes that's a tough pill to swallow when you can only have one. And now we're saying there are 6 of them released. Granted, like some of them are drastically different, but it's tough, man, when you get into all these releases. But I also agree with what Breda said when it's like that's the name of the game for Hot Toys. They release, they do these incremental upgrades, things change. So I get both sides of it, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But it does, like, it stings when, you can't sell one of these for like 200, like they're not even going for $200 for the one that just came out before this. Yeah, moving it for $200, and then like I don't know what the price is on this one, but I can't imagine it's.
Does anybody know the price on this?
It's got to be pricey.
The No Way Home was $315.
Yeah.
So like I said, like if you can't sell the one you have and you really want to get this one, you got to sell it for under 200 and then buy this. Like that's a tough pill to swallow. You know what I mean? That's what I would say. So unfortunately, that's, like I said, the name of the game in the hobby for some figures. But yeah, Strange is a cool character. If I had, like some type of Marvel setup where, I wanted to get maybe one iteration of each character, this would appeal to me. I think it's a great looking figure. I really do.
$335.
Yeah, $335. So that's like
that's the most expensive Strange.
You're talking after
and
you're
it's
talking
on
like
wait list, right?
Man,
it is.
So if you're paying like, by the time you pay tax, shipping, depending on where you get it from, like you're looking at paying double of what you're going to sell your previous one for.
Easily.
If you do end up selling it. Like that's really
and if you
tough.
already have one, is this one worth the upgrade?
Yeah.
Is it
Is it worth the upgrade?
That's a good question.
Incremental. This is like similar to like how people are with smartphones when the new iPhone comes out. Like literally it is the same thing, but they changed a little something underneath the hood to like justify releasing a new version of the same phone that you already have at home. So, but the thing is with this, like, there's so much that could have been made from this line that makes this line for me personally just irrelevant. Because the standout right now that's available is Dead Strange, which is phenomenal. That is a straight up Sam Raimi Evil Dead-esque figure. That is awesome. Even if you're not even a Doctor Strange fan, that's sick. You can respect that.
Yeah, that looks really cool.
And Scarlet Witch, of course, looks phenomenal as well too. Another great one for collectors. I'm sure they're waiting for. But the ones we didn't get are the ones that I'm most looking forward to that I'm never going to see. And if spoilers for anybody who hasn't seen the movie, I'm sorry, I'm going to give it away right now. But we could have got a Professor X. We could have got Reed Richards. Like, why didn't those ever come out? Those would have been money makers for them, and yet they decided not to make them for whatever reason. So for me, it's just like looking at this line. Outside of that is still the best.
This is badass. So if I was to get a Strange, if I was to get a Doctor Strange, I would want this one.
Yeah,
like this is the dopest one to me, honestly.
So there you go. So this one hasn't even released yet. We're already calling this the one, the winner. So it's just like
it just looks so cool. And it was a cool moment. It was a cool moment in the movie, and like Doctor Strange is in a isn't like a cool enough character for me to get like his normal design, but this one is badass and it's very unique and it would look really cool to have. This is
Just
just
for
like,
Halloween time.
yeah, you don't see like too many figures that end up looking like this, right? This type of design. Just is very unique in that way. So yeah, it's tough. Like I feel bad for the people who really, really like Doctor Strange, or like maybe they want to collect multiple of them, which is fine too. But like if you're trying to upgrade from the one you have, like that feels bad.
It feels like a trap in a way. In a way, it
it's
almost
just,
feels like a trap.
it's just unfortunate, especially
Plus
if you feel like the one that's coming out. Like if people feel like this Multiverse of Madness one is the definitive one, like this is the one to have.
But that's the thing, though. It will never be definitive. That's the problem with Marvel right now.
It's just going. They're going to
because they're going to make another
Doctor.
Doctor Strange. It's going to be in another movie, and then like that one's going to this one's going to make this one obsolete again. There's the only one that truly is a standout is the Evil Dead Doctor Strange over here. Like that is cool.
Yeah, this
like
is
even
badass,
if
man.
even if you don't collect any others, like that would be the one to get in my opinion.
Yeah.
All right. Action in the box. Which line is bigger? Now, what do you mean by bigger? Like most figures available, or like most popular?
No, I mean,
Clarify.
I think he's asking the quantity. If I think is Marvel or Star Wars. I think
That's
I
a
think
good one.
is Marvel, right?
It's definitely Marvel.
I would think
It's gotta
Marvel.
be
Yeah.
Marvel. I think.
Definitely Marvel, for sure.
Yeah, so many Iron Mans. It's got to be Marvel just based on
There's
like the
more
amount of
Iron
artists
Mans
that
than
are
there are
available.
entire DC available.
There's so many
Spider-Man.
Iron Mans. That's
Yeah, that's a good one. Iron Man and Spider-Man alone. Actually, Iron Man and Spider-Man alone probably have more figures than DC combined.
But it's interesting that the
They have
line
Batman.
that they have most figures is the only line that they never did a DX. There's not only one DX from Marvel.
Well,
They
That's
never
true.
Did one
That's true.
DX.
That's true. They've never done one. That's a very, very good point.
Interesting. Any reason why? Or is it just one of them anomalies?
Maybe because if they had to do DX, maybe they had to do a lot.
True.
So with Star Wars, they can pick and choose. With DC, even easier to pick and choose the DX to basically is always Batman.
makes
All
you
right.
wonder if you ever get a Marvel Artisan. Probably not. I don't know.
I think
Yeah, I wonder
they
if that's
will.
along the same lines.
I think they will. feel like they're-
Iron Man.
I feel Iron Man artist.
That'd be cool.
All right.
Real gold inside of it.
Yeah, so yeah, he did mean most figures, by the way. Really quick, want to give a shout out to Commander Green in
Commander
the house.
Green, how are you?
Hello, everyone. Hello, how are you? Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. We just got done talking about the 3 new releases, and now we're going to get into the nitty gritty, the conversations, the anybody jump in and let's talk about this stuff. And we're going to start it off with this question here. So I want to know from the panel and you guys in the chat, what's the main determination if you will purchase a figure or not? Could be as simple as, do I have the money? Could be, do I need this figure because I have another Strange already? Or, you know, it could be what it comes with. Could be the head sculpt. Could be just the movie that the character is portrayed in. But what could be like, do I love this character or not? Like as DLO talks about, like, is it a I like it or I love it or gotta have it type of thing? What pushes you over the edge to say, yes, I am getting this figure. I need this figure. Or no, because sometimes I think we love the adrenaline of buying figures and we love the feeling of buying figures, but we can get caught up sometimes in being like, well, shoot, did I really need that? Like I was just talking to Sneaker before the show. There's a Hot Toys Assault Tank Trooper from Rogue One. Kind of getting more into the Rogue One line a little bit, but I don't want to just collect to bring it all together. I want standalone figures that I really love. But I found a super deal on it. So is the deal what pushes me over, or is the fact that it's not something I love that holds me back? So who wants to go first with this? Who's got the burning thought of this question? Breda, you want to go? You are our esteemed guest.
What do you want to know?
I want to know what makes you tick. I want to know why you
What
are the
makes
way
me-
you are.
Okay, I am the way I am because now what makes me tick? basically it's the love for the IP and how much that figure or the character means to me. I mean, before, years ago, I was like collecting a bit for the hype, and I regret, of course, because then there I had figures that didn't make sense in my collection, and I had to do one thing that I hate to do, that is to sell out figures. I don't like the process of packing figures and then showing photos, and then especially here to sell figures here. I would say that almost every figure I try to sell here, I know I'm losing money because the market here doesn't, the figures do not hold value at all, especially when is a figure already open. They care a lot of having the tabs not open, the box to be complete. That for them is a determination for the price. But yeah, it's basically the IP, the character, and I think mostly is that. Of course, the price also counts, but when we are already collecting in art, I think the price is already so high that I think we
It's got to be
cannot
for the
go
love.
cannot go higher than that. But you see, now you hit a good point for the love. I do not love the Lord of the Rings as much as I love DC or Batman or anything like that. But for the case of Inart and Gandalf, when I saw the prototype, I said, "This is a masterpiece in the making here." And when you have that Gandalf in hands, and when you see that head sculpt, it's something that, in my opinion, is I didn't thought we would see this kind of quality so fast, and they did. On Gandalf is something incredible, and then they follow with Pennywise. I think Gandalf is better than Joker, because the Joker, we already see so many Jokers. There are thousands of customs Jokers with very high quality.
Kind of desensitizes you a little bit too with all of them that we've seen.
But Gandalf, I don't know. I don't know really. It's really because they did it perfectly, I think.
Sure.
But yeah, it's the love for IP and the budget, of course. We always need to talk about budget. I cannot get everything I want. I need to select, of course, but the main determination is basically the love for the IP. I think everyone is the same. I don't see
Sure.
difference.
Yeah. Definitely has to have a certain connection in order to really justify it first. I mean, it's very, very hard. I'm a big movie buff, right? I think a lot of us are. That's where a lot of these come from. And for me, it's just like it's so hard sometimes because you almost love everything, right? You know, these movies are phenomenal. There's characters in there we all, individually like and stuff like that. So, and then there's so many choices to make with how many options you have available. So, for me, it has to have some kind of long-lasting connection, not just a connection, because, that's how a lot of us get into trouble. We buy into hype, like Breda was saying the way he was collecting a few years ago and having to make, big changes and, not enjoying the process of having to sell it afterwards. So for me, I'll use Marvel as an example since we've been talking about it tonight. So at one stage of while I was collecting, I was nearly down to like maybe 3 figures on Marvel. I had burnout. I had burnout from so much Marvel, so much collecting from Marvel, and I sold a lot. And some of them were grails as well too. And I was slowly getting rid of pre-orders on Sideshow at the time, where I was just like waiting to get my NRD back because it was another delay, this and that. Well, that's when the COVID times were happening with those things. Everything was getting pushed back. So I was almost in the clear. And then my Star-Lord from Infinity War converted. And then, I was like, I didn't want to lose the money. So I said, screw it, I'll keep it because I do like Star-Lord. And I recently sold my Star-Lord from Volume 2. I got it in hand. And now, like, Infinity War / Endgame was maybe 2 years in the rear view. At that point, it's kind of had time to pass and kind of get over the long 10 years of watching Marvel movies. And I went from, like, really, like, being tired of them to like really appreciating like how good they were, especially when we started getting the Disney shows and they weren't that great. I was like, you know what? I was kind of spoiled these last 10 years. I should probably appreciate those years of Marvel a little bit more. So I started getting them back little by little, and it worked out great because Marvel was on the and Star Wars on the up. So I was able to pick up a lot of the ones that I lost there. But where I'm going with this here is just like, you know, if you're buying off of hype, hype eventually fades out. But if you can find a reason to love it for more than the time that we're all excited about it and still love it after we all kind of forgot about it, then that's the way you should go for those figures, because that's going to be the ones that will stay in your collection a lot longer than the other ones that we've all forgotten about and just don't even care about anymore, if that makes sense.
No, I think that's a really good point. And sometimes in my earlier collecting years, I would buy for the hype or pressure to get something, or like, how does my collection look? Or, you know, like we talked about it with Electro, like as a standalone, he might not be as attractive of a character to get, but when you pair him with Green Goblin and the Spidey and, you know, the other figures, Doc Ock and all that stuff, he looks great, like great setup. And I like Marvel. I love Marvel, but I got into it late. So I don't know if I wouldn't say it's not as special, but it's not ingrained in me like some of this other stuff that I grew up with. So like some of the characters I love, but some of them are just kind of add-ons. So like Ant-Man or Doctor Strange or a couple of these other ones, like I almost got them because I wanted them all together. And to me, the whole picture together would look pretty, but individually, I don't really love those characters. And then I think over time, no matter how cool the poster, the scene looked, I was kind of like, I don't know if I need these figures. So like that's something I'm trying to do. So like when I was talking to Steve about that Assault Tank Trooper, like deep down I'm like, that's not really something you love. You know, fight the deals sometimes and get, you know, spend your hard-earned money towards the figure that you actually love, and that's going to stay in your collection and whatnot, because we've all made the mistake of picking up something that we thought we'd like or love or just didn't happen. So just my 2 cents on that. But Brick, I know you were about to say something.
Oh no, I agree with everyone here. It has to be something that means something to you, from your childhood, nostalgia. Do you love the character? How long have I loved the character? Have I liked it since I was a kid? You know, I mean, I'm sure all of us have been Star Wars fans since we were kids, and that's what got us into Star Wars. You know, same with Graham, you with Batman, and me with Spider-Man. So. You know, there's something about getting a RoboCop for me too, because of my childhood growing up watching that. So that's my number one thing. But there's a lot out there. I mean, does it look good with your collection? Because obviously, you know, Yelena right here doesn't have any childhood, you know, nostalgia at all. But it goes with the collection. But my number one thing is definitely, you know, it starts with Spider-Man and then it grows the collection a little bit, or, you know, Iron Man or Venom, for example, was a big thing because, you know, you grow up watching the animated series, and Venom was such a, you know, I remember having Venom toys. So having certain toys from your childhood and then having like the adult version of that toy is a huge game changer too. Because it's like, oh, I used to have this as a kid, and it feels like that's that toy from when you were a kid, because that 10-year-old or $10 toy, $8 toy was like big money for you back then too. Because for me, I couldn't get everything. So having this, it kind of brings that back for me.
No, that's a great point. I mean, that's really what it's all about, is the nostalgia feeling and the fact that you can basically have almost not a representation of what you love or that movie, but also the toys you grew up with that you spent hours playing with or doing whatever with, lining them up. Like I know EvilSneaker's son does, you know, line them up, whatever you do with them, like that sticks with you. And that stuff's really cool. And I think that's the big part too, is it all goes into play together, is the love for the character, the nostalgia. You know, budget is a big thing for me too. Even if I love a character, and I'm sure this is with everybody too, but some people can maybe get in trouble. But like, you know, what's my money budget at for the month? Like, have I already spent it? You know, but I love the figure. You know, the main determination is, can I afford this without, you know, putting it on a credit card or something like that. So. Sneaker, well, I kind of already know your answer, because it's my main determination is if it's Star Wars or not. So we can skip you. No, just kidding.
I think like, oh, sorry, Brick, you got some closing thoughts.
Was just going to add something.
Nope, you're good. You're good. I'm fine.
Yes, always is Star Wars. I think like I think it's not the main determination, but I think like obviously price is really important. Like that's one of the first things I think about is if what the price is of something and how am I going to budget that out to fit what I'm doing as far as pre-orders go and throughout the year of when things are going to come in. It's not the main determination, but it's obviously a factor. But yeah, the main determination is absolutely for me like love for the IP.
Yeah.
Like Star Wars is. I was just thinking about like when Brick was talking about being a kid, and like I was just realizing that like so when I was in kindergarten, like I would take Return of the Jedi Luke Skywalker with me to play with in the classroom, and I grew up with Power of the Force figures. And then what happened? Like got into like early on in college, got into Star Wars Black Series. What happened last year? Got out of Black Series, got into Star Wars Hot Toys. Like it's been with me my whole life, essentially, is what I guess what I'm saying. And it's just like Star Wars is really important to me. It's like kind of part of my identity, I guess, growing up. Is just like always like really enjoyed Star Wars, and then also like love for the IP as far as like how things fit into different moments within Star Wars. So like when I was filming my collection tour of like in all the way that I have my cases set up is like obviously like I try to set it up by era or like different movies. So like prequel shelf, Clone Wars shelf, Rogue One, then getting into original trilogy, Mandalorian, and then being able to look at those cases and have a vision for those of how I want them to look in the moments that I remember from those. I think like that's really, really important for how, I want to make my collection. And Star Wars is the number one importance for me. With that being said, I think character is also I will say Star Wars as an IP is more important to me. And I've talked about this when DLO was talking to me about this carnage, this damn carnage that I can't escape. So Star Wars as an IP is more important to me than some of these other characters from IPs that I still enjoy, because I really want my Star Wars stuff to be like, that's my number one priority. And I've talked about it in the past as far as getting figures from other IPs. They've got to be really, really like they've got to hit really hard for me. And those right now in my collection are basically Stealth Suit Cap, like the limited one from Endgame, and then In-Art Joker, because those characters are really, really iconic and they're ones that I really, really enjoy. So those, when I get these other like the characters have to really mean something, and when it's outside of Star Wars, it's got to like really hit hard for me to be able to pick it up. So yeah, I'll say love for IP, and then yeah, characters is the other thing, because like I said, I'm more likely to pick up if something is going to fit in well in my Star Wars collection that maybe not like someone consider like this is like a must have for some other IP. I'm probably going to pick up the Star Wars one, to be honest, because that means more to me within my collection than picking up either a one-off figure or a figure that figure's cool, but not necessarily something that fits into my vision for my collection and something that means more to me, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it makes perfect sense. Really quickly, just want to say hi to a couple people that entered the chat here a few minutes ago. We got Six Scale Mafia. What's going on, my friend? He says main determination for me is if Breda wants it, then I'll get it. Influence.
That's the way to go.
He's influenced. Brian Wong, Mr. Majicase himself. What is going on, my friend? Actually, I'm doing an assembly video of the 655s coming out later this week, and then also another video just going over the new packaging and the new directions, the instructions for putting these things together. And I was pleasantly surprised with the presentation as well as the instructions for putting these things together. So I think that's one thing MajiSpace can cross off their list of things that maybe deter people. So excited to get those videos out. We got Bad Boy for Life in the house. I am a big comic fan. To see Hot Toys make Marvel or DC makes me purchase it. Yeah, man. TX Boy says, I agree. If you walk in and see a piece and you display it in a different way and it makes you feel the same way the first time you got it, it's worth the keep. We got Frank Flores in the house. Hello, my friend. Thank you for being here. Hashtag thank Frank. And Luis, hey there. What is going on? Good to see you. I had another thought on the tip of my tongue, but if anybody wants to jump in with a final thought here about the main determination, feel free. But oh yeah, I got it. So the other thing, and again, this isn't the main determinant. We've talked about the main one, I guess, but one of the other important ones for me is going to be how the figure came out, how it looks. Like, even if I love the character, if the figure is just something I don't enjoy looking at or posing or any of that stuff, I might pass on it and try to wait it out for a different company to do it, or just a 2.0, 3.0. Like one example I have is like Batman Begins. Really wanted a Batman Begins, and as soon as I saw the attempt that Hot Toys made on this latest one, I passed. As much as I love the character and I wanted that figure, it was not something I could stand to have in my collection with how it came out, and I was really disappointed. So like, are there any ones, like any characters that have come out that you're just like, yeah, it just doesn't do it for me, or like stuff that's really like deterred you from buying it, or nothing really pop in your head? Just take a moment to think about it. We'll have dead silence while we do that.
That's a good point. I think you want you want it to look good, obviously. I think that's definitely. Like,
have you ever had that though?
The majority. I don't think I've had the issue where like something. I don't think something's looked
rare,
so bad where it's deterred
awesome.
me from buying it. Yeah,
It's
I feel like
rare.
the quality is always like, you can, if it's a character you want enough and like it's important to you, you're probably willing to take a, to take the loss on whatever it is that you're disappointed in, and probably still pick it up. I feel like in most cases for people that seems like the route. One figure this reminds me of was like this Supergirl, which in my opinion the head sculpt isn't good, but people are like, I'm pre-ordering anyways because I want Supergirl, and they're willing to let that pass. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's what came to mind when you brought that up.
That's true.
I haven't had one, but the closest I've been was Doc Brown from Part 1, Back to the Future.
Oh yeah.
That was a tough one
That was
because
sad.
I hate that sculpt, and it just. But I love that version of Doc Ock. I'm Doc Ock, Doc Brown. Excuse me. But yeah, that's probably the very closest I've ever gotten there. But yeah, it's tough because the thing is, there's no guarantee there's going to be another one, and that's kind of like what keeps you still making excuses for it, even though it's not how you wanted it to turn out. So it's a tough one. But Doc Brown was pretty damn close.
Great one. Another question: when will 1/6 kit start shipping out the Doc Brown head sculpts?
That's for the
Great
king
one.
right there.
Are you there? Oh, the
Yeah.
king.
I am here.
No, he responds, I am here.
No, I didn't know but the question is not for me, right?
Oh no, are you the chosen one? I think it is. Not
Oh, right. Sorry.
sorry about that.
So many nicknames.
You probably
When
don't know. I
Kit
was
will
just
start
giving
to
you shit.
ship the Doc Ock at sculpts?
Yeah, that was
Which-
supposed to release like Q2.
I have no idea.
You know what I'm talking about? I don't know what company
The
it
Back
was.
to the Future.
It was like $40 for the head sculpt. It's supposed to be like out in Q2.
Can you still pre-order it, or is it sold out now?
I don't know about that.
And that Andrew
Picked it
Garfield
up.
one looked good too.
Yeah. Well, anyways, let's move on. So we talked about the main determinations of if we're going to purchase a figure or not, and you've all probably noticed it. We're getting closer to fall. Autumn is, I think, this weekend. And as we get into autumn, we get into the holiday season. We have Thanksgiving and Christmas coming right around the corner.
Spooky season.
And with that, there's going to be a lot of figures being unloaded and released by Hot Toys. We've already seen it. We just got all 3 of these Marvel ones. Boom, boom, boom. There might be something else this week yet. So, my question for you guys, let's start with Sneaker on this. What warnings should we give collectors as we approach another holiday season? Because you'll see it. I just want to give some context quick. You'll see on the BST probably more than you see now. People just getting out from underneath some of these figures. Fire sales.
Yeah.
So what warnings should we give
So
that
what
people don't have to do
Yeah.
that?
Don't be like me and pre-order Buzz Lightyear out of nowhere, which might be coming out this year.
What was the main determination that made you
Dude,
do
I
that?
love Buzz Lightyear, man, but I don't want to talk about it anymore. That's all I'll say. I'm not
You brought
gonna
it
get
up,
into detail
dude.
on that one. Yeah, don't be like me. But no, dude, Buzz Lightyear gonna be a great figure. Also, my son absolutely loves Buzz, so it's like that's kind of our movie that we watch. It's probably the first movie he watched actually with me was Lightyear. So it's going to be a special figure to have in the collection, and it'll be something that'll be really important to me. But anyways,
Stuff.
it'll be really cool. So that's honestly the reason that kind of pushed me to order. And Brick and I are going to do something cool with the video for it. Little sneak peek, but Yeah, what warning? On a positive note, it's a great time to buy figures if you're going to be looking for some for good deals. On a positive note, what warning should we give as far as a negative? Make sure you have your ducks in a row when it comes to budgeting for the holiday season. I think is the biggest one, especially if you have to get things for other people. It's going to be tough because there's going to be a lot of stuff. I mean, every company drops stuff around the holidays to get sales, and I think don't feel like you need to buy into the holiday hype when these things are going to be, with the way the market is, there's a lot of this stuff is going to be around after the holidays. So you don't need to feel like you need to get it now. When the holidays pass, you're still going to be able to get stuff. It's hard. You got to fight the urge just because it's the holidays. For me personally, just because it's the holidays, I'm not really going to change my approach on how I get things necessarily just because it's the holidays. I think the hardest thing is going to be giving into the hype of all the stuff that's inevitably going to drop around this time. So yeah, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think we as collectors are very selfish beings. So just remember, you got to buy gifts for other people too.
Yeah.
So I think that's a big one. But anybody else want to jump in with any of this stuff or anything we want to converse about?
Yeah, I think you got to be selective for sure. You got to be careful. I mean, these pre-orders, you kind of have an idea too that they were going to come out, at least a lot of them, during the holiday season of 23. So you have to be selective. And another thing too, which I will say, which might be a little opposite of what Sneaker is saying with discounts and everything going on during the holiday season to get rid of figures. I actually think that at least with the newer figures, we're going to be seeing discounts after the holiday season, because then people aren't going to buy as much. It's like everything else. So I think if you can wait for something,
Patience.
Patience is key. I think you could I'm not saying for sure, but maybe some figures you'll start seeing discounts come February, March. Just patient. That's why you be selective, get the ones you really need right now. And come a few months from now, maybe the other thing will be discounted.
That's a good point too.
That's a really good point, Brick. As I literally just said, a positive warning is to buy figures if you want at this time because they're cheaper. Just go buy them.
Do you guys think we'll see any BOGOs again, or like these crazy deals where they're going to be super tempting?
Yes.
Or do you think that was like
Black Friday?
Yeah, I was going to say Black Friday is the best time
Black
to buy
Friday sale.
Whole weekend.
They're gonna clean house on Black, or they're gonna try to on Black Friday.
This is the year we get rid of Captain Marvel. This is the year.
That is when Sneaker is getting carnage.
They need to stop. That's when I'm getting carnage.
No,
don't put that on me.
There's so much that goes on to this here. I mean, this is going to be like my seventh. I call it seasons at this point. Like this is going to be my seventh Hot Toys Christmas season here. It's not, you guys are laughing about it, but I'm honestly sweating thinking about it this year.
Oh.
This year it's going to be nasty. This is going to be the most amount of figures dropped in one quarter since I've been collecting. So
what's coming? Do you know? Because on my list,
I wish on Sideshow we could.
It's hard to say, Breda,
when it's coming out.
It's just coming from experience of like these, like the fourth quarter is just there's going to be the ones that are going to be hitting on time, but then there's going to be surprise ones that you weren't expecting to hit until first quarter or mid second quarter of the next year, but they push it up,
Anakin and Padme, maybe.
Whatever the case may be, but I mean, the thing is, it's a massive. Listen, guys, but I'm being serious. This is a massive announcement spree, all the way up till maybe Chinese New Year, is what typically happens, and then it's a dry spell for a little while there. But I mean, collectors are going to be hit upside the head. Like it's no joke. It's going to be pretty wild. It is every single year, and I would say just on a proactive level here, if there's some people that have options and things you can possibly do for like collectors in the States, for example, maybe convert a couple of those pre-orders into payment plans last minute, just to buy yourself a little bit more time so you're not getting hit with multiples at the same time, because that's going to happen. I guarantee you there's going to be one person who posts that, hey, I got hit with 4 figures in 1 week, and that's a lot of money. You're talking about over $1,000 easily with shipping and taxes and all. So it's no laughing matter there. So there will be a lot of selling for sure. That absolutely happens every single year. There's going to be a lot of buyers though. So that's a positive as well too. If you need to sell and you need to sell now, you're going to have more people interested because there's
True.
gonna be more buyers for people who want to get presents, stuff like that. But yeah, there's nobody. I don't think anybody is gonna have the perfect answer to this one, just because this year, in my opinion, I think is going to be the busiest fourth quarter we've had since I've been collecting. So I'm not looking forward to it. I'll be honest, I'm not looking forward to it.
Do we think Obi-Wan figures are coming?
It's
quarter?
possible. I think Vader's like October to
It's October to March, I think. I pray they come in all come in
I mean,
2020.
That will be-
Toby could be coming out.
Yeah, I think so.
Yep.
That Vader will come before the end of the year, most probably.
That'll be a nice Christmas gift. I'll take that one.
That'll be sitting right
I'll
on my
take that
tree.
one for myself.
Another thing that I've done too recently is kind of knowing the fact that we're probably going to be getting a lot of these released around the same time. So I had them all on the payment plans, but then knowing that, I'm like, well, I'm just going to go ahead and pay this one off real quick so that, let's say if a Spider-Man figure comes out in a couple months, I'm not paying both of them at the same time to finish off the payment. And if I got the money now, I'll just do it now real quick, so I don't have to worry about $100 here, $50 there. Just boom, done. I know I'm going to get him when he releases, and I can focus on the other figure. But there's different options there.
I think pre-orders where it gets real dangerous. That's like I feel like
sure.
the biggest thing. If you have a lot of pre-orders right now that are going to be
Brace
potentially be
yourself.
coming out, then yeah, that's where
Exactly.
like you got to have your ducks in a row when it comes to
Yep.
this
I
quarter.
think it all comes into the amount of pre-orders you have,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, that's true.
that's why I'm not very worried, because I'm a bit safe on that aspect, because I think the only figure I have that will probably come this year, it's oh no, actually it's more, because you are talking about you are talking about
Just like that.
No, you're talking about the Vader, the Vader from Obi-Wan.
Right.
Yeah,
That's-
could possibly come around Christmas
That's
time.
one. Cobb Vanth 2, and I think I'm done with Mandalorian, because Cobb Vanth is the last one for this year. There's nothing more coming from Mandalorian this year.
You got Batman pre-ordered, right? You said, like the deluxe.
Yeah, I'm talking about Star Wars now. Cobb Vanth.
I bet
And-
you
and-
Mace Windu
Apologies.
comes out this.
I'll go
Cobb
fuck
Vanth,
myself.
I'm
Jeez,
I'm excited for
Jesus
Cobb Vanth.
Christ, man.
That's two.
We're talking about Star Wars, DLO. Come on, man.
I gotta keep up with him here. Sorry.
But for example, yeah, Batman, but I didn't pre-order Bane. I didn't pre-order Catwoman. Catwoman probably will also come before end of the year. There are a lot of figures, because we are in different markets, right? And for me, most of the times, I never go into that FOMO pre-order, because time and time again, the figures here will always drop the price in stock. Robocop is already down from stock price. If I pre-order Robocop, I would already be losing money. But Robocop is already down. So here it is always
Damn.
best to wait, because as Dilo said, approaching Chinese New Year, and here is when the things go up to sale a lot, because everyone needs money for Chinese New Year. People start canceling pre-orders. When the stores here have a pre-order cancel, what they do? Normally, if they need to get money fast, they will deduct the deposit that the person paid for the pre-order and then sell the item at that price. What means is that you can get a figure sometimes 30 to 40% lower, because the store need that money, and they already have the deposit in their hands, and that figure is dead stock. So that's the game I usually play. Only with the figures that I really want, I pre-order, and the ones I want to get faster, I don't want to play the patience game. You remember, for example, Book of Boba Fett, the Book of Boba, the Enforcer, the droid. Do you remember that one?
Oh yeah, KX Enforcer.
Yeah,
Yes,
KX
yes, yes.
Enforcer.
The KS Enforcer droid. Everyone was saying that probably that one will go up in price, go up in price. I'm playing the patience game with that figure, because it keeps dropping, and I'm almost sure I can get it 40% off sooner or later. Because the other thing that is different here is that the worst that can happen to me is I will need to pay retail, because there is always stock. Always. There is always stock. there is not one figure that I will say no, it's sold out. That's impossible. There's always stock. So for you guys over there in the States, I cannot give too much of opinions because it's a different reality for me. But I'm sure the four of you can give good opinions and can understand better how the market.
Well, I agree with you. The
works.
KX Enforcer thing. I mean, outside of Sideshow, you can find it everywhere.
Yes, it is everywhere.
Same thing with the low
And-
keys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's been waitlisted, but you can find those.
You know that many pre-orders I did, sometimes I regretted. For example, I pre-ordered Quill and the Blur, and now they are so discounted here.
Yeah.
I could get
Yeah.
it almost for half the price. So it's always it's always so difficult to choose to pre-order or not.
Well, that's why I think I have 9 pre-orders right now, and I pretty much try to stick with. I ask myself, you know, obviously, do you love this character and figure, and do you care if this is going to go discounted? And if the one answer is yes, and the other answer is no, you know, then I'll probably pre-order it. Like if it's something I really want right away, and want to secure that, then I'll pre-order it. But yeah, otherwise, like even Obi-Wan Vader, I haven't pre-ordered that because I'm just planning on getting it
There's only one
eventually.
thing that is worth to pre-order, and I think it's here also, is the vehicles. For example, the DeLorean, the Mark II year, the price is already up, and the Ecto 1 is completely sold out. If I didn't pre-order the Ecto 1, I couldn't find it now. But those are exceptions because are bigger pieces and they learn from the mistakes before and they order way less vehicles than before the stores around here.
Graham, I'm feeling good after hearing that.
Yeah, man.
I love that Echo one.
And I'll be
Man.
getting my Bat Cycle
Nice.
Which bat
Yeah.
cycle?
from the Batman.
Oh,
I'm really
the-
looking
the-
forward to that.
I even don't know what I pre-ordered. Does that come together with the pack or is separate?
No, that's separate.
So I didn't pre-order the bat cycle. So it's because I don't need.
How cool is he
Yeah.
going to look straddling that bike?
Very cool.
sick.
Is that slated to come this year?
How much is
September.
the bat pod going up now? The bat pod I think is almost lower than.
They just had it on sale, the Bat Pod.
It's
The
gone
bad
now, I
pod
think, on
here-
Sideshow at least.
The bat pod here is cheaper than the endgame rocket now, and the endgame
my
rocket
gosh.
was
Oh my gosh,
was
yeah,
the lowest one.
Wow.
ever. The
Wow.
bat pod is
Goodness.
completely done.
Damn.
If
telling me
anybody in
there's
the
a
chat
chance.
needs deals on figures, Breda also will ship for free. And he
No, I
doesn't
don't
charge
ship
any
to
interest.
anyone. I don't tell
I'll
anyone to buy
give you guys
anything.
his email address.
Never ever ask me for any fucking thing because I will not tell.
All right, tell the others where they can find you.
You cannot find me anywhere.
Nowhere.
I will not tell
I'm not even
anyone
here.
to buy anything.
Tell anybody about this, I'll fucking. Oh, Breda's still
deny
really
it.
honest. Yeah, I'll do. You bring up my name. I'll deny it.
You will too.
Oh boy.
Good stuff.
That is good stuff. Good conversations. We got Wayne Timothy in the house. He says ATRT and ARF Trooper are slated for October to March as well. Collection
Good
Obsession,
God.
Sideshow Blue Screen for 1989 Batman, Yellow Daredevil, King, and most of Exo 6 Star Trek figures. Interesting.
But these are stuff for next year. I'm not considering
Yeah.
89 Batman for this year or
Or Daredevil. Yeah.
Daredevil.
Breda
Ace
Wonder.
Windu.
Anyone,
Try.
if anyone
Try,
even
guys.
pre-ordered that Daredevil, I don't know anyone that pre-ordered it.
He called Toys Wonderland, but they didn't call back.
Damn.
He tried.
I called them. Do you want to partnership with me? I said, Big Breda? I said, yes. You are blocked. Bye.
All right, well that's some good stuff there. So yeah, we got a little bit of time left. Let's just keep this thing going. Posing. We all have our own way of posing our figures. There's no right or wrong way necessarily. But I want to hear what you guys prefer, what you like better, why you don't pose a certain way, why you do pose a certain way. Pros and cons to posing in, museum posing or dynamic. Is the art of posing like the Force, where everybody can have that gift? Or will you put in the time and the effort to learn that gift, the art of posing?
You talk so different now since you've been hanging out with Steve. I swear. It's like I don't even see the DC in you anymore.
My man.
Not a compliment.
So-
I'm concerned.
Brick, what kind of posing do you like? Do you like the dynamic stuff? Do you like the more museum? And when I say museum, it doesn't have to be straight, arms straight up and down. I mean, museum poses anything that can be natural or realistic, but it's just more of like a standing upward pose. So,
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the figure for me. Obviously, you can see my Spider-Man here. I mean, they're more action dynamic. But then you got, figures above that are more museum. But at the same time, you have, Yelena and Black Widow grabbing their gun, from their holster, or, adding giving a little, love there.
flair,
But
flair.
little flair. Thank you. And I got Vision kind of going up. I'm not great at it, but it's because I don't have the patience. It depends on the figure. Spider-Man, I'll find the patience for because I want it to look cool. I don't want Spider-Man just standing straight up. But the other people, it's like, well, the suit doesn't go this way for me. I'm afraid it's going to wrinkle that way and not go back to normal. So I'm just going to make it simple and have Captain America have this grumpy look and make it look like he can do this all day kind of thing with holding the Thor hammer and kind of head tilted a little bit like, okay, come on, sucker, and then Iron Man, I think he looks good with that museum pose, just standing there all
With Legos,
macho-like
you don't need
and-
to worry about that, right?
No, not at all.
One end up or one end down.
Yeah, right.
There's not much to
And
do.
have the leg going, So, but yeah, so it's definitely a new struggle of mine now going from Lego to this. So, but it's definitely something I would have to say that I feel like everybody can pose. I don't think there's a single person that's like, nope, can't do it. I'm sure they think that, but I think if you took the time, you could figure something out.
Yeah. You mentioned something very interesting, that you don't really enjoy the posing aspect, and that's something to think about too. Like, not everybody really loves to pose,
Yeah.
so like for them it's good enough. Like, I try to get it to look as realistic as possible, but I do not enjoy changing. I mean, sometimes I do. Like, if it's been in a pose for 6 months, sometimes I
Change
just
the
want
hands,
to change
the
it up.
clothes, change the
But-
accessories. Jesus.
But like, if I'm
Yeah.
doing a review or something, I don't enjoy just posing figures or taking a large amount of time to do it. So I can kind of relate to that a bit, where posing isn't like my most fun aspect of collecting. It's more so like enjoying them after that. But yeah, just really good points there by Brick. What else do you guys think? What are some of the cons to
For
posing?
me, for
some of these
cons,
things?
for me, it's basically if you want to do action poses, you need space,
Right?
right? You need a lot of space for action poses if you want to do like 3 figures, 4 figures together doing some, let's say, if you want to have the Mandalorian shooting and with troopers and everything, you need a lot of space for that. I think space is one of the cons, and I kind of agree with Brick about the patience and everything, because sometimes you really need to have the patience to go through, and it is also, I think, is something that is an ability that you learn and you already have. For example, there's a channel, I don't know if you guys ever saw that. There are actually 2. One is posing with Peter,
Yep.
because
it
I
is
think
great.
Yeah.
he's a master at posing, and the other one is figure posing channel, is Anthony from Netherlands. He did a video a while ago. I was checking that video. He was basically, that is basically a tutorial. How do you have the TVA Loki seated on a chair and when I see him, the way he poses and the way Loki is seated on the chair, it looks so natural, like he's a real person sitting in a chair. And that's extremely difficult to do for a normal collector, because you really need to have the sense of the body movement, how it is seated, how the shoulder should be posed, the ends, everything plays a part on that. And to be very honest with you, every time I do the reviews, the worst part for me is the fucking poses, because I need to do 2-3 poses and do the photos of the poses, and sometimes I go crazy. Jesus, that's why sometimes I just zoom the photos. I take the photos in some angle that will look like amazing, but if you look from the waist down, it's a wreck. But yeah, I do suffer with the poses because I don't have the hands for pose. I would wish I have the time to learn and everything, but I don't have. It's not the
I don't know
shaking
what to
hands.
do with my hands.
It's not. I lack the sense for natural posing, and it's something that you need time to learn and to. It's the patience. I agree with Brick. It's a lot to do with the patience, the time you dedicate to a figure, to study all the accessories. I know there are people like this. They study all the ends, all the accessories. They fix the clothes. They do this. They do that. And I really appreciate the people that do this work. And I wouldn't mind to hire someone to come to my room. I just post these. I pay him something, but be ready by the end of the day because I don't want you here all day. and yeah, I think. But some figures they look just great with museum poses with just a gun in the hand or something like that.
Right.
Some
If you
others
can make
they
it look
just
natural.
others they probably just look boring, but in the end is you that look at your collection. If you are happy with it, it's all that matters. I know that some people say that a bad pose can ruin a figure, which is true. Sometimes you do see figures that they would shine a lot with a good posing.
Agreed.
But we can go that in other ways. Lighting can also change a figure. The kind of display you have can also change the way a figure looks. There risers can do a big difference on your display. There are a lot of tweaks that we can do for it. I don't know if any of you here, for example, if you ever, you do have the steam, the clothes steam for your figures, because that is. I think is essential if you want to pose. And tweezers is other thing that I never thought I would need, but you need a lot of tweezers for this stuff. But yeah, basically I think it depends on you and the patience you have.
Keep it set nearby at all times. It's true.
Tweezers, steamer, heat gun,
Needle nose
all
pliers.
stuff that you need.
Yep.
Those wrist pegs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just bite them out.
Oh my god.
No,
Oh,
God,
yeah.
no. Really? Well, there goes your
He's
resale value.
serious. He's serious
man.
about that.
You just don't go on the ridges. You go on the flat part, so it doesn't you don't mess it up. It's just easy, man.
There's going to be that one random guy you sell your figure to one day, and he looks back at this episode like
teeth
I think I want my
marks.
money back.
You know, one
Marks
time
you should be honored.
One time happened.
It's going to be worse one day.
I wanted to change the Nebula hands in her mechanical arm.
Oh, yeah.
And that thing broke. That
Like
mechanical arm,
inside the peg?
yeah,
Or the peg split?
broke inside the peg.
I've had that.
That was a pain in the ass to remove that.
Yep.
And then Nebula is the only figure that the wrist pegs are gray. Because if you don't have extra one,
that's true.
if you don't have
That's a
extra
good point,
one,
yeah.
then you will have a hard time with it.
You're out of
You're
luck there.
fooped. Yeah.
I think posing is essential, though, if I'm being honest here. But I mean, there's versions of poses, different kinds of poses. Museum is I don't consider that a negative condensation.
Right.
You know, it seems like people seem to think that there, but I mean, kind of like
Depends
Brick is
on the
alluded to.
museum. Museum
Very
is
true.
not like these.
Right, absolutely. And then there's when I first started collecting, I was terrified of posing, absolutely terrified of it. I just thought, if I bend it any kind of way, I might break it. Like specifically, my first time I was genuinely like frightened that I would break something was Iron Man, just because of the weight. It feels like such a premium figure to have, and it's just like that one was very intimidating. And meanwhile, you see photos of people putting them in like the ground and pound kind of freaking superhero landing pose kind of stuff, and I'm like, I'm afraid about bending the elbow too hard, So it's embarrassing, but it's funny to talk about now. But I mean, I remember when I was a new collector and I would post into Justin's old group back in the day, just like happy about a new figure, and all my figures would look like scarecrows, and everybody would tell me that. They would tell me like they just had their arms kind of like this, that was my best pose, and it was like, yeah, you may want to work on that one, you guy. I was like, okay.
Stuff
But
like sardines.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. I saw a couple of those photos the other day. It wasn't pretty. I'm not very proud of those, but over time, like I feel like it's just one of those things where like you're willing to take a little bit more risk. You're willing to take more chances, and you'll be surprised at how good you can be at it there without even really trying too hard. Like not everything has to be, Spider-Man swinging from web to web or something like that. I mean, Stoic is phenomenal. Some characters just look great just standing there, maybe twisting a couple of, arms or legs, something like that, and they just look mean, and it's great. Then there's some figures that just need a little bit more. But I'll tell you right now, there's been so many figures that have been saved in my collection that were on the verge of being sold because I just didn't think they were that great, and I just gave them a good pose, and just totally reinvigorated my love for that figure. And just like, yeah, there's no way I can sell this now, So, but it doesn't. But dynamic is a different story, though. Dynamic, I don't like dynamic. When I say that, that's the one where you're pushing the figure to the limit, to where if you're not a person who's regularly checking up on your figures and constantly changing those poses to give it a time to kind of go back to reset itself to where it was. I mean, it can be permanent damage to the point where that's it. That's how it is. And, I always look at it as an investment that if I'm going to have this figure, there's no guarantee I'll always have it. And someone who inherits my figure is going to inherit all the extra things I did to it as well, too. And that's going to affect what I can sell it for. And that's going to affect if someone wants to buy it in the first place, So for me, I think dynamic is great for photos, but it's definitely not something that you should be doing long time with it there. It should definitely be a one done, put it back, because if you want to keep the figure in good position for a long time, dynamic composing is the last thing you want to constantly do with that figure.
Yeah, and some people don't care about that, but that's one thing I do care about, and that's why if I have a Spider-Man other than the homemade suit, I will not put it into a dynamic pose, because it just means more to me personally to have the suit pristine condition. Like I have the Iron Spider, and he is as straight as a board. You give him a bend and you're getting the creases. So try to make him look natural while just standing there. But to me too, yeah, that's one of the cons of dynamic posing is it's got to be short term. It doesn't have to be. I mean, some people again don't care, but for me it does. So Sneaker, how about you?
Yeah, so is the art of posing like the Force? I'll answer the question. I would say yes, it is.
Of course, you would focus on that part of the question.
Yes, it is, because like Ahsoka said, talent helps. Okay, if you have a creative mind and a creative eye for dynamic posing and stuff, and you like have that artistic ability, which I don't have, I'm like a Sabine of posing. Okay, that's what I'll say. Yeah, I try to do it, and that's what happens.
Star Wars metaphors.
Yeah. But yeah, I think like some people just have the creative eye and they can like really just get it to look right. It's crazy because like when I was posing all my figures, obviously did like a lot of that in a short period of time. It's crazy how little of a movement you can do with something, or one little piece of a figure, and how drastically it can change the appearance of it. So like it takes like you guys, I agree with all your points as far as like one of the big ones is like the amount of time it takes to get something right is just like, when you have a lot of figures, it's usually time you don't have, and it's time that you don't want to spend just like, it already takes, when I was getting figures out, like some of these figures were taking 10, 15, 20 minutes because I'm getting out accessories. I'm trying to get it just the way I want. You add more dynamic posing to that, it just like, it takes up a lot of time. So I go more like the museum style posing, try to get it to look, somewhat decent. I think like I feel like the museum style are a lot easier to get it to look good than if you do a dynamic one. I feel like when I do dynamic stuff, I just like feel like stuff looks so rigid, and I can't get it, like Breda mentioned, to look, it's hard to get it to look natural. It's so hard. You have to have things just like set perfectly right, and it's just a lot of tedious work to do that. With that being said, there are a couple that I have posed that way. It just took a lot of time, and I'm happy with how they turned out. It would be hard to do that for every single figure. Ones that came to mind, DLO, when you're talking about really pushing figures to the limit, where like I put these clones on these bark speeders, like the one on the sidecar, like I was taking the hip joint of this 501st clone, and I was literally like pushing it, like I thought I was gonna break it. I was pushing it like as far as the hip could flex, basically, and then it was like it wouldn't sit right. It's like sitting with like the back off the backrest, so I'm just like really putting a lot of torque on the torso. Like I'm surprised this figure is like alive, I guess, but it's just like, and then I guess the opposite side of that is you kind of can see what the limits. Some of these figures really have I mean, they're known for having good articulation. So there's the other side of that, where if you are dynamically posing, you can actually feel like, okay, this actually can like move quite a bit. Which if you just, I guess a downside of museum poses, you may not know really what your figure can do if you're not really trying to adjust the arms or the legs in a certain way. Like, but a lot of these figures have, you know, good articulation depending on what they're made of. But so yeah, there's a lot. It's hard to answer this question because there's a lot I feel like that goes into it. I just want to mention one other con. Yeah, dynamic posing. Obviously the damage, like the pleather is a big one. Darth Vader, Empire Strikes Back, you know, I have his elbow bent up and I'm just like, this is creased. I know, like, I know you guys know when I bought that Death Star gunner, that figure terrifies me. I just got the arm straight out. I just got the arm straight out because the jacket, like the zip jacket that he has on, the whole entire thing is pleather. The whole entire
At least
thing
Vader,
is
you have the cape.
Like Vader, you have the cape and you have stuff that goes over top of it. But this thing is, if you take off the armor chest piece, the whole entire jacket, arms and everything is full on pleather. So I'm like, nope. I just made him have fists and I just put the arm straight down. It still looks cool. Like, I think the figure still looks fine because of the type of character it is. But I was like, yeah, I'm not. The moment you bend the arms on this and leave it there for a day, the pleather is going to get greased up. And for that figure in particular, I didn't want that to happen. So yeah, that's kind of the route that I go.
And for anybody, you know, anybody's got their own way of doing things, and that's why, you know, you collect the way you collect. Some people just, they want the figure for the posing, and me, in my my thought process is I want it to look the most realistic to the character, so like posing comes secondary to that. So that's kind of why I do more of my stuff's museum, but I do want it to look natural and realistic. It's just like you guys said, it's just some, like Breda said too, it's space and whatnot that sometimes comes into play. Let me check in here with the chat here. Jazzy's a big fan of posing. I know he takes a lot of badass photos, so definitely into the dynamic stuff. TX Boy says, to me, these pieces look so much like mini statues. I'm happy when I can change the pose and it makes for a new diorama display. And yeah, like DLO said, like being able to almost change, that's what's so cool about 6 scale as opposed to like statues. Like you can change how a figure looks. Like almost, I mean, you know, statues have a lot of these like plugins and whatnot, but like you can change it completely to something else if you kind of grow, you know, stale of it or something. TK Magic Shop, love the show. You guys give me great content while I do my random builds. All right, thank you. Nice. Appreciate you for watching and chiming in. Appreciate that. Yeah, hate when they're all museum and stuff like sardines. Yeah, I mean, I think these things need space to breathe and to be able to, you know, really, you know, admire them. But at the same time, we're collectors, and you get to a certain point at some point where maybe you run out of space, or you just, you know, you just don't have the ability. Like I just watched Optical 20's collection, and you know, it's very modest. It's very just, you know, in his basement, but it's true. Like he's like, I just ran out of space, and I want to keep getting more of these figures. So for now, it works for me, but I know it's not the most pleasant to look at. So, you know, it's kind of to each their own type of thing. Jazzy says, I broke the leg to my Spider-Man. LOL, now he's a badass looking pose and battle damage. Yeah, I broke my black suit Superman foot just trying to arch the foot down a little bit more and snapped right off. So he will forever be in flight pose. Yeah, TK says I'm the Jar Jar of posing. Misa likes a pose. I like creative posing, less on realism, but more on crazy things that could have happened. That's what's cool too. Like everybody has their own thing in their head that they want to do, and you can represent yourself in your display. So, you know, that's really cool. All right. Anything else you guys want to add on that? I think we kind of touched on that. Why we pose a certain way and pros and cons to posing a certain way as well.
I think one last thing I want to say. Sorry, it's the last closing thoughts for me. You mentioned, like, I think it's overall for me. I was thinking about kind of what you guys were saying. I think museum posing is a good compromise between being like somewhat creative but not having to spend a lot of time to get it into some crazy pose. Like it's a happy medium for me of putting them into something that still looks really good. You're doing the figure justice, but you don't have to spend a ton of time doing it. I think like that's kind of the draw for me as far as museum posing goes. But that could change, you know, like that could change with time when I'm not having to put so many figures out at once. Maybe I want to switch some stuff up, but yeah.
Sounds good. Well, we are right at the 2-hour mark, so we're gonna call it a night tonight. We have another topic that we didn't get to, but we're gonna save that for next week because it's always good to have topics for next week. So, really quickly, again, thank you guys so much for watching in the chat. Thank you guys on the panel for being here. Really had a lot of fun talking about some of these figures coming out, as well as just some Hot Toys community topics. So. Go subscribe to each and every one of them. You can find their channels in the link in the description below. Actually, you can find their link in the description. But DLO, how is that tour coming along?
Well, it's kind of funny. We're ending on pros and cons of posing because I inspiration struck on one of my cases, and I just went to my prequels case and reposed everything, and it took me a long time to do that. So the timing of this topic is actually pretty ironic there, but it was so good. I had to reshoot it. I didn't want to put out something that I felt that was now inferior. I wanted to show you guys off like some hot shit there, because I like these collection tours to look as good as they possibly can. Like I don't show off my collection as much. I mean, I'll post a photo of a figure now, which, by the way, thank you guys for supporting that new line of photos I decided to do on my phone randomly one day. So that's really appreciate the support from me on that there. You liked one of them, Graham. Like, get off.
I've liked them all.
I've liked them all pretty much.
You have. Secure for sure. Brick, you're about 2 behind, but that's okay. You have time to catch up.
I got you.
When are those photos?
Breda, I mean.
When are those photos?
It's on my Instagram, DLO The Collector. You're friends with me, apparently. Friends. but yeah. So I'm putting the final touches on here. I want this to look better. Like I'm a perfectionist with this stuff, guys. So I apologize. I know you guys have been looking forward to it. It's not going to disappoint. I mean, I've looked at the footage and edited it a gazillion times. It's going to look really, really good. I just want it to look as best as it can, because this is the last one I'm going to do for a year. Then the next one, I'm going to have a really nice update. So yeah, I want you guys to like it. So I'm doing it for you.
Look at that sexiness right there.
Yeah.
Look at all these hearts.
Talking about Obi-Wan and Anakin.
I'm really getting into photography here. I mean, it's a basic stuff right here just on the top of my desk, but it's like I'm really starting to like that part of the hobby more and more. So I'm playing around with some stuff here. So anybody who does this a lot more, please, I would love for you to DM me and give me some tips and tricks, because I'm such a novice when it comes to this that I would love to get better at this part of the hobby.
There he is. You can see his page right there, DLO The Collector. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Brick.
Just double check and make sure he liked them.
Artemis.
Brick.
Go ahead.
Slick.
Yeah.
What's going on in the channel?
Man, I what is going on with the channel? I have a video coming up kind of ranking all of my figures from last to best, because I can't think of any other content. I'm a collector, not a YouTuber, so I can't. I'm not good at this. So yeah, that, and then doing my shorts here and there, and hopefully getting these figures so I can do more reviews. So, and of course, still dabbing in some Lego. Why not?
There you go. But he's now the Hot Toys guy.
Brick sex, baby.
That did land. All right. It wasn't believable, but Sneaker, what's going on your channel, sir?
Yeah, first I just want to say first official episode as a formal Wolfpack member, so thank you guys.
I'll get you your shirt yet.
Not bad. Not bad, Rook.
Give me my shirt.
Not bad.
If I did all right. Up on the channel, I just posted my long-awaited collection tour before DLO did his.
Yeah, that's the other reason why. Oh yeah, guys, that's the other reason why.
DLO,
I saw his. I was
wait.
like, great.
Everybody go watch mine and wait for longer for DLO.
Definitely sports sneakers there. I was like, I was like, well, I was pushing it back a week.
I was going to wait a little bit, but I decided to just bite the bullet and get it done, because I've been working on, building all these cases and putting out a lot of figures for the past, I don't even know, I think it's been like a month. So I got my collection tour up. You can go check that out on the channel. Pretty happy with how it turned out. There's still some work I got to do. Coming up on the channel every Friday, I do after Ahsoka. DLO, are you on this week? You
supposed to be.
Oh yeah, that's right. I am.
You can join?
Yeah,
oh, okay.
Of course. How could I forget?
Yeah, okay. DLO forgot. It's okay. No, I'm
One
just
week
kidding.
I'm out. Delo's in.
If not, it's totally fine. But yeah, I do after Ahsoka on Friday nights, 8:30 Central Time, so 9:30 Eastern, talking about all things the latest episode of Ahsoka. So whatever this recent one was, episode 6. Yes, episode 6. So excited to talk about that one. That'll be Friday. Yeah, I'm working on some other kind of like pre-recorded or long form content, some ideas that I have now that I got everything out. But yeah, go check out my collection tour. That'd be awesome. Let me know what you think. You can leave a comment on the video.
Awesome. Delo, I have liked every single one of your.
Yeah, I'm getting notifications on my
photos.
watch. You are sad. You really are. You know. You're just
I only missed like 3. So, Breda, I
think
know you got to
also got
run.
from mine.
Oh God, I got to go to yours next. Breda, what's going on in your channel? You got a lot of great reviews out there.
I know.
Just honest.
No, I'm actually going to review today these 2 pieces that I received yesterday. I think they are already they are releasing now. These are
Nice.
The Last of Us. The
Very
figures,
nice.
but these are 112, not 1/6 scale.
Look at that. That's really good looking for 112.
Yeah,
I
they are.
never knew that 112 they use real clothing, and look, the head sculpt it's really good. It's surprisingly good for
Yeah,
this.
it's awesome.
Jesus, take that face out of here. Okay. See.
That looks great. Look at that. That's so much detail I never thought you can get on 112. Look at that.
Yeah, 112 they look really good. And I have my live stream today. Is at Collectors Unite. Today no, tomorrow morning for you guys. It's at 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. No Americans there, so don't even try to
allowed. Don't even try.
I'm off
Don't
tomorrow
even
too. I was
try
going to ask.
to
Never
offer
mind.
yourself.
I gotta work.
Forget it.
You who said I gotta work?
No, I said I'm
Dilo
off
did.
tomorrow. I'm
I
off
did.
tomorrow.
I did. I said I gotta work.
Oh,
I try to hop
yeah.
on streams during work though. Sometimes don't tell anybody. Nobody
No,
from
most of-
work knows
but
me on
you,
YouTube.
you know that is interesting. Most people that are over in the States listening to my stream, they always leave a comment. I'm at work listening. People
That's
just,
cool. That's
just,
They want you to know.
just listening.
Yeah, that's what I try to do. If
They're putting their
if I
job
have
on the
time.
line for you.
Anything for support.
But I offer good advice on my stream.
You do.
You
I
do.
appreciate
Did you ever watch?
me.
Yeah.
Mm,
I knew it.
Yeah, just like he liked all my photos.
Who do you always see, Breda?
Who do I always see?
Yeah.
I can tell. It's my
Oh.
guilty pleasure.
yours are at the worst time.
It's my guilty pleasure. Oh, Calvin, how are you?
Hey,
Welcome,
Hey,
Collector.
bud.
Calvin.
What's
What's up,
up?
dude?
Yeah, but thank you for having me. It's been a while since we streamed together, and yeah, I hope I can back here sometime and talk more stuff.
No, it's always a pleasure having you on. You're always welcome here. Hopefully, we can do the Bargain Bin Brothers sometime soon as well. But
Yeah, I don't know when. That's you should host one time. You cannot. You cannot. You should. But it's your work time. I understand. For you,
yeah,
it's also
it's a
difficult.
little tougher. Taking a little break, but yeah, no, this was a lot of fun. Appreciate you guys all being here. We talked about a lot of good stuff. Hopefully, you guys in the chat enjoyed it as well. Don't forget to like, subscribe.
Gambit Rodriguez, you can become a member of his channel. It's
Yeah,
the way you can support the show.
Yeah, thank you for notifying me of that. Yeah, Gambit, if you're a fan of the channel, you want to take that extra step to support. Obviously, you watching and commenting supports me, but if you want to take that extra step, we do have channel memberships called The Watch, unlock cool perks and whatnot. So yeah, you can consider that. They can be found on my page. Yeah, other than that, just keep doing what you're doing, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for all the support. And until next time, stay safe out there, and we'll see you soon. Good night, everybody. Throw it. Throw it, Breda.
Yeah, look at that form.
Ooh,
Wait, what is
Look at
that?
that.
Is that a scissor? What the hell?